Futures back to the upside, pretty good way here this morning, led by tech once again. NVIDIA specifically ahead of the start of this AI conference from NVIDIA. Going to be 4 days in a row this week, already back above 900 here pre-market. NASDAQ itself up better part of 1%. We'll touch on Apple and maybe Google teaming up. Didn't see that one coming, but we'll tell you why here in a few minutes. Also, yeah, it's Fed week. We'll get Fed Chair Powell coming through later on this week. Not going to give a cut, not going to get a raise, but it's going to be all about the comments that come from Fed Chair Powell at 2:30 during the press conference. Once again, we'll bring that to you live. Will he give any kind of indication as to their timeline going forward? Remember, this is the first Fed meeting of 2024 where we will get those economic projections from the Fed and the dot plot once again. So that could be pretty telling coming up this week. So stay tuned for that. Lots to discuss on the EV front this morning, led by Tesla to the upside. Rivian's higher this morning. Fisker trying to get higher, but not so much. They're going to pause production just coming through here for the next 6 weeks and raise some funds for FSR all the way down to 17 cents. Crazy. It's Monday, March 18th, 2024. Tradertv.live starts now. Yeah, there's the market overall. That's a weekly chart for the NASDAQ right now. We are back to the upside ever so slightly here this morning to the tune of about 1.06% right now. Still, yeah, nice month. 30 days, 6.15% overall for the NASDAQ. More positivity potentially coming through for NVIDIA. Will Apple and Google spoil their party, though? We'll talk about that coming up here a little. Yeah, that's Fed week. Some Fed jitters. I don't know why this headline actually says Fed jitters, because I don't think there's going to be much of a surprise coming through from Fed Chair Powell this week. I think we know what's in store. It'll be a matter of how he delivers that information, I think.
I wonder if he'll be emboldened really like to put his foot down and say, look, I told you so. The fight wasn't done. Look at these last two prints. So we'll have to wait and see what he says today. Yeah, NVIDIA, the GTC conference, definitely on watch. That starts at 4. Jensen going to give the keynote for that. There's already 1,000 people waiting to watch that, and it's about in 8 or 9 hours. Also, Brendo, Model Y price increase. So not a bad look there. Maybe demand for Tesla's increasing finally.
Yeah, I mean, we'll touch on that coming up here, but a couple things as far as Tesla is concerned to be aware of this morning as well. Yeah, here's 900, as I mentioned, trying to hold as support. Already a pretty good start to the week here, guys. 2.7% ahead of, Sharif was mentioning the conference coming up later today. Will we get new products? Will we get, I mean, there hasn't really been any kind of leaks or anything from, you know, what's expected from this, but much anticipated keynote coming up later today.
Yeah, but I mean, we're talking about 2.7% this morning. Psh, Google, baby, or Alphabet, whatever you want to call them. That's, I mean, the 5% for them. I mean, NVIDIA goes up 2.5 percentage points like every 5 minutes when the market opens up. Alphabet doing this move is a little bit more, I don't want to say it's more juicy, but it's more juicy. It's more exciting. And sometimes you just need a little bit of a catalyst to continue what was already happening on Alphabet off the 200-period moving average. We love that 200-period moving average. I'm questioning how great news this is for Apple, because there's two ways to look at this. I think with the Google, with the Alphabet and Apple potential deal here. They're just in talks, of course, to get Gemini on the iPhone. Great for Google because money is green. But the other way to look at that would be if Apple, everyone expected Apple to be doing this in-house and now they're going to be paying it out. Who knows? Is this going to go the way of what search went for them? I think you can play it both ways for Apple, but it's only good news for Alphabet here. We'll have a bit of a pullback in some of the crypto, but I think that's still going to be tradable. We didn't actually trade IBIT on Friday, but we did on Thursday. I think that's going to be in play, probably off of some of the same levels. But yeah, it looks like it'll be an exciting start to the week. I can't remember the last time we got to, like, when was Google non-earnings the biggest gapper of the big names? I can't think of the last time this was true. So excited to see it leading the way today.
Yeah, I'm no more excited than that. You guys know this is a big position for me. Google now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like 9 of the last 10 days straight to the upside. We're really happy with that. And then NVIDIA has been down 4 of the last 5 days. So nice to see them moving around today. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to some people that went and got some Shamrock Shakes. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast this weekend. I thought that was really fun. A great opportunity to go grab that and listen to the podcast that we had this past weekend. But AMD, I feel like that conference is not happening until 4 p.m. If that is the case, when he's going to be speaking for NVIDIA, then I don't know if there's going to be too much movement in the stock today off of that conference, but we're going to wait to see. I'm going to find out some more details on that. I thought it was happening all day. I guess maybe just NVIDIA speaking at 4 o'clock. So we'll wait. But anyways, AMD, nice downside move. AMD comes right into some of this support down here, low 180s. I think that might have been a great buying opportunity. The chips overall down 8%. Off their tops. So we'll wait to see if NVIDIA can hold some of these tops above 900 as well. So what should be a good week, just getting started here today with, again, NASDAQ up 1.2%. This is going to be a 2+% day for the NASDAQ. So Apple, Google, they're all rocking. If Microsoft holds as well these highs, then, Microsoft's down to 413. If they can hold 400, then I just feel like the market has some upside here heading into earnings.
Had a Shamrock Shake?
No. Is it based on?
I didn't even know what it was. Apparently, Ramin speaks very highly of it. Anyway.
Okay. He's denying it, Brendo.
Yeah, it was a hot topic. Let's put it that way on the podcast.
I gotta find out what this is.
There was a note on Fisker just before we came on there. It's back higher right now. We're trying to get back higher right now, but they've come up with 150 million in financing here. It looks like, and they're going to pause production for 6 weeks to see if they can't, I guess, shore up a little more. So It's been a rough, well, let's call it a year here for Fisker so far.
It's been tough, Brendo, especially these last few weeks, watching the price decline so aggressively. So it looks like that 150 million is going to come from an existing investor. It's not a new investor. They didn't identify who it was. It should help pay down their 2025 convertible notes, which come due next year. So that looked like a bit of an issue for them because they didn't have the cash to cover it. So we'll have to find out exactly how this is all going to pan out. But the market liking it right now, up 8 3/4.
Yeah, very active as well. Heavily traded so far here, guys, for FSR on this.
Yeah, and I said on Friday, actually, was it Friday or Thursday? Might have said this both days. Definitely said it on Friday. That the way I was going to approach this stock was going to be similar to what Bed Bath & Beyond was when it was near the end, which is if it shows you levels to work the short off of, just kind of short the pops. Don't be afraid to get out if it runs the tops and then look to get in off the same levels. Like that's kind of what you saw on Thursday and Friday. Like it had the same high at about 20 cents and fell down, and then lower highs were pretty good as well. However, today it looks like it's going for a bit of a jaunt because it seemingly wanted to take out this 19. So it's going through. It's got 22 cents up here, and then if you really, really were to zoom out, like this far, then the 30-cent level was prior support into resistance, that kind of thing. At the end of the day, they're doing all the things that you need to try to play out the string, which is great. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't want any company to go under. I don't want people to lose their jobs. It's not fun at all. And you've got to keep in mind, even if they were not going to make it, and let's say 6 months from now they're gone, it's still a decent short float that is probably some of that gets unwind when you get news. So you've got 25% short flow, so it can run some stops. If it doesn't hold underneath this 19 again, I think you just got to back off and wait for the next available level to pop. I'm not really trying to go long this when Bed Bath & Beyond was near the end. Wasn't really trying to go long that either. I think you can pick your spots with this. Just be careful because that short float, it's there. There will be some covering from time to time because they got to take their profit too. Like if you were short this from like last year, I mean, how much more money are you going to even make at this particular point?
Yeah, so we made money going long on Fisker. I think that's what we'll stay the course doing. Like this bottom here at 17 seems to be fine. If you ignore this kind of garbage, I feel like the safe play is going long here at 17 and then getting out at 15.5, taking a penny worth of a hit, penny and a half worth of a hit. So I think Fisker long here at 17 is the right play. today. I don't want to go short this name. You do have some nice pop opportunities. Obviously, if you can get long in 17 and get out at 21, 22, then that's 20, 30%. Like, I mean, you got to take profits when they're there. So I like this kind of a base down here at 17. I think Fisker is a long down here. Tesla's going to be really interesting. We talked about that for sure already today. We'll get to the board. Rivian trying to hold that $10. That looks exciting as well. There's a couple good plays I feel like today, especially with the NASDAQ starting to bump up. It's not just all about the chip names, right? You can get into some of these EV names. So Rivian, and then of course we're going to again talk to some of these Chinese names. I mean, XPEV up to $10 as well here today, up another 6%. So there's a lot of names here to look at today, not just going to be the chip sector. I'll probably look at Fisker, but not until I get long down here at 17.
Note here on Goldman Sachs, not a huge deal, it's not moving around very much, but Stephanie Cohen, senior Goldman executive, to depart, according to the Wall Street Journal. So there was a bit of a volume tick anyways, therefore Goldman back to the upside a little bit. Look at this daily chart. It's just really tight range here for GS at the top end of the range overall, trying to hold higher here this morning. Notably, banks were strong going into the weekend last week, relatively strong versus the overall markets. We'll see if that continues.
Yeah, I've been definitely keeping my eye on Goldman. I'm invested in the XLF, so been keeping my eye a little bit on that. Looking for the IPO market, obviously, to open up a little bit this year. We'll see how that does after the Reddit IPO. But Stephanie Cohen, she was the most senior executive female at Goldman. She's leaving for a new job here, Brendo, at Cloudflare, where she's going to be the new chief strategy officer.
We'll keep an eye on the banks. I mean, not a lot of volume there, not a lot of activity so far this morning. Here's MSOS. We had some late headlines going into the weekend and some late positivity going into the weekend on Friday for the weed space. Michael Noska is coming up here in a few minutes. He's going to touch on that.
Hey, I mean, like Tilray's up 7%. I mean, CGC, you can look at MSOS as well. CGC's up is up 13%. What's interesting about CGC is it did the reverse split and then did exactly what you think should happen after that split. The reason I would lean in this direction if we get some kind of a continuation, and keep in mind, every time there's been news in this front and we've had an initial move, there hasn't been any continuation. That said, it is still breaking out. The lower float and decent short float here makes it somewhat appealing, but as far as I'm concerned, these are squeeze plays. Until we get something concrete. I know it's an election year, but that doesn't mean you get anything concrete. You're just going to get some innuendo, and you're going to get some fun headlines to play off of. So if this breaks out the top, I'd be looking for some continuation longs, but you got to convince me with buyers above the top. This isn't NVIDIA, where if it gears up and shows you a flat top, you just take the breakout. I don't think these have been in that category for a while, so maybe something worth looking into after the opening range. If it's still trending above, like this is the 360 high, holding out above maybe even 350, that could be worthwhile after the opening rush. But I feel like we've seen this story before, and show me how many green candles since the split have resulted in a second one the day after. I think once it's managed to show some kind of continuation, and that was a couple of days after the reverse split for CGC anyway.
Look, I would only trade this MSOS today. The ETF, I think it's the safest play to do. Bouncing off here, 750 was such a great bottom there into the 200 period. Now you're taking out the 50 period moving average. Obviously, we'd like to see this break through $10. If you do that, you get a 1050 top. But again, very news-based here, heading into, as we said, an election year. Both sides of the aisle are a joke on this topic anyways. So $9, we've already broken higher today. We'll see about 950. But yeah, I'm not super excited about it, so we'll wait to see what Michael Noss has to say coming up, I guess now.
Yeah, let's bring him in. There he is, Michael Noss, CMT over at Trade Ideas, set to kick off the week here. As I mentioned, we did get a little bit of positivity going into the weekend, Michael Noss, but as far as the news is concerned around this group, I mean, it's not nothing we haven't heard in the past on this rescheduling aspect, and it looks like that has gotten to a point where it's basically a done deal now. So a lot of these in the sense of the cannabis ETFs and some of the individual names did run into the weekend. But what are you seeing as far as the technicals are concerned?
Yeah, the beauty of being a technical analyst, I didn't know there was any rescheduling news at all. It popped up on my scan, so I wanted to chat about it. So I obviously do these on the weekend, so I didn't know it was going to gap up this morning. But I want to give a little bit of a lesson on Stan Weinstein's stage analysis here and what we could be seeing in the marijuana names. I think there's a really good point or a really good moment here for a lesson on potentially a turnaround play on some of these names if I'm right here. So the first chart I have here is just SMH. And the reason I, come in here all the time, I know some of you guys love the sector talk and maybe some other people want some more individual ideas, but I'll have some of those on the after hour show when I'm here. But the idea that I'm having, and I keep reiterating this, is that at some point, and it may be happening now, that this SMH or this, NVIDIA leadership of the market is going to have to turn. People are going to have to take profits. They're going to have to put those profits into something else. That's why I've been talking about natural gas and a lot of things that I think could end up being beneficiaries of this. So I just wanted to show this particular chart right here before I show the next chart. And this is, again, Stan Weinstein stage analysis. If you want to look it up, it's really, really insightful. This chart doesn't matter what this chart is. It's just highlighting the concepts that he came up with over time. And this is something that a lot of technicians like myself use. And the idea is that you can essentially break the market into 4 stages, right? Stage 1 is your accumulation stage. So either it's a brand new market or a market at highs or a market like we're going to talk about that has gotten incredibly beaten up. But generally speaking, V tops and V bottoms are kind of rare. So you get this accumulation stage. And the idea is that in this stage, it's where the value investors and the people who understand market mechanics say, okay, this instrument has gotten cheap enough. So I'm going to start buying it at this level slowly over time. And what that creates is this sideways chop where bulls nor bears get any ground because every time it pushes higher, those value investors aren't interested anymore. But when it pulls back, then they start buying. So that creates kind of a floor in price. And then you have stage 2. Stage 2 is the markup version. Oh, sorry, just back there. So stage 2 is the markup version where you have an uptrend. Then stage 3 is just the opposite of stage 1, where you have the people who, again, are the value investors who understand all the fundamentals starting to sell. And then you have phase 4 when there's no one left to buy and that sells off. So the reason I'm looking at MSOS is now we're on to the next chart where, I did my sector analysis. This is something that I love that we have over at Trade Ideas, where you just have big boxes to show me what was moving this day. And this was obviously Friday with MSOS. So I went over to the next chart here, which is the monthly chart. And you can kind of see the same chart that I was talking about before with the stage analysis. During stage 4 on the monthly chart, you can see almost not a green month for years, since 2021 all the way into 2023. Almost nothing for green months. This is not a place where a technician, this is not a place where a trend follower like myself is interested at all in the stock. I probably never even heard me mention weed names on this program because it was just doing this for a long period of time. Then stage 1, we've had this sideways consolidation. If you are a short-term trader or a range trader, you can make some trades to the long side here and make a little bit of money. But if we are going to break out of this zone, and if this, I guess it was a news event on Friday, is going to be a catalyst for that, and we're going to break out of this stage 1 zone, then maybe we're going to enter stage 2. And for us for myself as a swing trader or a long-term trader, this is the place where I want to be involved. I either want to try to catch the breakout into stage 2, or like we've been doing with uranium, trying to trade it as it is going in stage 2, which is, making new highs or pulling back to important levels or wherever. So maybe if we do break, I think Sean hit the nail on the head with about $10 or so on this, that would be a breakout, and potentially we're going to go into stage 2 here, and this is where we could make a little bit of money. Doesn't mean we need to retrace that entire other move, but hey, if it gets from 10 to 20, I'd be a very happy camper. So now we're into the weekly chart. Say it all the time. People are probably getting bored of it, but try to buy smiley faces and sell frowny faces. This is starting to look like a little bit of a smiley face to me. And we've had, if you look at the far right-hand side of the chart, we have what could be a little handle which would make this a cup and handle style setup. So what we want to see, if it is a cup and handle style setup, is that low from before yesterday's news to hold. That's if we break under that low, we move lower, then that's going to almost completely invalidate my thesis, and I'll have to come back a little bit later. So into the daily chart, a couple things to note: that we closed above this downtrend line. So that's just a downtrend line of what I showed on the weekly chart. We closed right above it. And I also anchored a VWAP from that last and most recent high. And we closed above that as well. The purple line on the bottom is just an anchored VWAP from all-time lows. You can see we pulled into that and then we bounced. That's one of my favorite setups. But closing above those anchored VWAPs is interesting. So if you want to play the index, this is MSOS. The last thing, this is going to be my homework today, and I'll see you guys on the after-hour shows for this, is these are all the top holdings in MSOS. And you notice that they're all really long tickers. And the reason for that is that you have to go over to the pink sheets and you have to go over to the OTC market to get a lot of the cannabis names there. And I think that, was regulation and the scheduling that Brendo was talking about there. So I generally don't trade in that market, and I generally don't even have my scan set to that market. But one thing that we can do at Trade Ideas is we can scan that market. So I'm going to be doing that, and maybe I'll have a couple names for you guys after the close.
We say it all the time, worth reiterating though. I mean, just a trade here, potentially just a trade,
Yeah.
not necessarily saying that, especially going into, as the guys were mentioning, they're an election year at the end of this year. If it sets up, then we'll look.
Yeah, and that's, again, whether it's your day trading, your swing trading, your investing, I think Brendan hit the nail on the head there too with it's an if-then, right? If we get some continuation from this, then I'm going to look for some weed stocks to get involved in. And then I said before, if this just reverses today and we break down the lows from, I guess it would be Thursday, well then, no harm, no foul. I'll move on to my next idea.
Yeah, 3.5% right now in the pre-market. We will stand by for some individual names in the group later today. Mr. Noss, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Thanks as always, Michael. And one of the cool things about some of the setups and principles that Michael will always talk about is whether you're swinging or day trading, you can sort of apply the same principles. Like as he was saying, buy smiley faces, sell frowns. But I looked at Robinhood, and this is not a daily chart. This is just a 15-minute chart. And I was looking at this thing after the pullback that we had on Thursday, and there's your bottoms, there's rounding up a little bit, and then potentially breaking back out today above 1840. Like, it's a very, very simple concept, right? It's like, what does it mean? It means the stock was going down, decelerated, made a bottom, and then slowly accelerated up. And then at the point that it makes your nice little curve, it should be coming into maybe like a resistance level from before, and you can get a potential breakout. In this case, it's already a stock that's trending up, but you go to the 15-minute and it shows you a little something. So that's what I love about it. I actually have my eyes on Robinhood today. Maybe it breaks out, maybe it doesn't, but you got to be able to apply the patterns that you see, not just to the time frame that you find it on, but also look for those elsewhere. If you're going to try to find new things and new trading setups, sometimes you're going to want to be able to do that. So I like applying some of those daily chart setups he talks about to like 15 minutes every now and then.
We're getting our sticky note back out in a couple of seconds. But yeah, join Michael Noss tonight, and I'll ask him, now that know that we're going to be talking more about some marijuana names, we'll be joining Michael Noss tonight, and we'll figure out some of those plays. So
stay on the weed.
Yeah, stay on or off the weed, depending on what you're feeling like. But yeah, that MSOS, that's going to be what I'm going to look at. Tilray, CGC, all those names are so dead, man. And he's right. A lot of them have gone down to the pink sheets, not just because of regulations, but because they're not worthy of staying up on some of these senior exchanges, right? So, all right, we'll look at that. Here comes Fisker back down to 18. I'm not really even looking at it, but I do have it up. We are going to try to bid that 17 level here on Fisker. So if we get a little bit of a dip buy, we'll try the long down there.
Snowflake getting a nice pre-market boost from Maness, Crespi, and Hart with this upgrade here. Futu getting it upgraded by CLSA. Morgan Stanley upgrading PepsiCo here. And Micron ahead of its earnings this week getting an upgrade from Barclays and also from Cantor Fitzgerald. So nice look for MU heading into earnings week. New York Community Bank Corp getting a downgrade here from Raymond James, another struggle for this company in the year 2024. Nike getting a downgrade from Telsey Advisory Group ahead of its earnings this week. Terex getting downgraded by JP Morgan Chase. And last but not least, Invitation Homes getting downgraded by Evercore ISI, guys.
There you go. And you know what? You could, I could make a smiley face on MU as well the last couple of days if you really wanted to, as we were just talking about it. Why not? Now you're going to start seeing these everywhere because we've mentioned it. So upgrade on Micron. It dipped into 92. I like the 93 level if it could have held a little bit better, but it never broke out the 95 all day long. It just had that double top Thursday, Friday, and now we're gapping above it. But you know what we have? You've got that little round, and then you've got 98 up here for a potential breakout play. So I still like 95. It's just that last week's breakout price for me turns into like a dip support level. So no breakout for me on Micron at that level. Just look for a dip buy. 98 is setting up pretty decently for a break there. Interesting to find Snowflake. I haven't really looked at that stock in a while, but Micron's been in play for a hot minute. And don't forget, this did one heck of a reversal candle off the $100 level. But look at the clean bounce off 90. I mean, very, very clean off the $90 level, which was previous resistance, and maybe right back up. Into earnings on Wednesday. It's going to be, Wednesday's, in terms of earnings, Micron's probably one of the biggest ones that people care about this week, and then you get the Fed, which will probably be a nothing burger on Wednesday, but it's shaping up to be a good pivot point on the week, Wednesday. And of course, then we get the IPO the day after.
Yeah, we wrote down on Friday Micron. We had a great trade Micron. We were long $92 on Micron on Friday and hit that name, and it was one of the #1 names there on the sticky note, and it's back on the sticky note today. Look, up another 4%. Something's going to happen with Micron, obviously, and NVIDIA today, so the cat's out the bag there. I feel like you're going to get a big bump up for Micron, and obviously, whoever upgraded it on, I don't know if it was Goldman or Morgan or somebody that upgraded this name on Friday was pretty smart knowing that something was going to happen today with Micron and NVIDIA. So that's my prediction. We'll see an announcement today with Micron and NVIDIA.
All right, I mentioned there was some positivity in the EV space this morning. Here's another name that we haven't talked about for quite some time. Big time level coming into play here for VFS. VinFast up 1.2% this morning, trying to get back above that 510 level. This is from Sharif's favorite analyst, Dan Ives, with his spectacular quotes. I won't bore you with the actual note itself. I did read through it on the weekend, though, and there's a lot of really interesting facts. There was this note as well that came out recently, top 13 undervalued EV stocks on Yahoo Finance. A couple of points I want to throw out there as far as VinFast is concerned. Their 12-month price target, now $12. So upside potential anyways is huge. Full year 2024 expected revenue $2.9 billion, 146.7% increase year over year. 2025 projected revenue $5.6 billion. That's up 90.5%. They plan to produce 150,000 vehicles in 2024 and deliver 100,000 vehicles with expansion across global networks. I mean, gross profit projections are higher, improving gross profit margins, higher net profit forecast to the upside. There's a lot of positivity in both of these notes. The chart itself, not exactly positive, we'll say that. But as I said, sitting around a very key level here around that $5 area.
Well, I think the chart's just the EV sector in general, Brendo, as that's had a lot of trouble lately. But VinFast coming out here with a great headline overnight. They're going to be building out their own EV charging stations, looking to propel the company forward. I got to tell you, though, there is a VinFast store at Yorkdale, and I've seen this car firsthand. The VF9 is a big deal for me, Brendo. It is a high-end car. Great finishings on the inside, and I like the look. I like it a lot better than the VF8, I'll tell you that.
We saw our very own Trader TV Randy at the Canadian International Auto Show. He was really impressed by the Wild.
Okay.
The VinFast Wild. That was that pickup truck with the back that opens entirely, with a lot of really interesting features. So VinFast, guys, back to key level here.
Yeah, and I always like defer to Randy in terms of like letting me know, the specs and all that kind of good stuff, but he came back pretty impressed with it. So like that kind of had me for sure. And what's hilarious about this is we were just talking about smiley faces, right? And I was showing this on the 15-minute charts. I know Michael Loss is talking about that setup on a daily chart, but as a short-term trader, you kind of look for the same things as well. And what does it mean? Well, we just sort of explained it. you get that nice little curl, make a bottom, actually reholding the $5 level right here, and then gapping above it. So you get a smiley face like that. The next step is hold support, look for the breakout higher. In this particular case, it doesn't have a clear defined sort of breakout price. It's more along the lines of holding that key $5 level. But yeah, you've seen a few of these smiley faces around, and now VinFast as well. I was driving actually behind one the other day when we were going hiking. Nice looking vehicle, man. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, some of these names continue to get to the downside, so it's nice to see that article there, and we'll wait to hear about production targets and things like that. But yeah, nice looking vehicles. Look, I think a lot of these EV names have nice quality cars. It's about getting in them, sitting in them, trusting the company, making sure you can get the service and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I mean, there's going to be winners in this space. We see Tesla back up today as well, so maybe VinFast joins that group. As we need to have a group for EV names, like the Elite Eight, now that we're into March Madness.
I like that. Well, it's
something like that, like where you throw them in and you take them out and
the
Electric Eight?
Now
I'm just making stuff up here.
Now we got to come up with 8 names, though.
That's what I mean. I don't know why I made that up, but something like that.
Oh, here's a question for you. Actually, I was going to throw this one in because, look, I'm going to miss out on the IPO this week because I'm going to Florida, so I'm going to miss out on Reddit.
Yeah.
My question to you is, and I was going to listen to the podcast, and you guys were talking about the good old days of IPOs.
Yeah.
So are you going to go back to the tradition of throwing on a suit when we trade IPOs?
Throwing on a suit?
Well, I don't see.
No, I never wore a suit.
What you've never worn a suit ever? Is that what you're telling me?
Ever trading? No,
You've never worn a suit on a trading floor.
I don't think so.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Because okay, so I'm looking at this. You guys were talking about IPOs back in the 20s and all that kind of good stuff, and now it's going to play 1920, 1921. And then here's actual footage from the NYSE trading floor.
Right.
And wait for it. And there is Sean Katina.
Yeah. Well, that's my grandfather.
Suit,
that's my grandfather.
which is amazing, and I don't even know how I got on the floor. Anyways.
That was good. I didn't even see that. That was nice. I like that edit.
You were like, what the hell? Where the hell's Neil going with this?
The social media team putting in work. I actually like that one. That's good.
But you're not going to wear a suit, though.
That's a good one. I want to. Send me that picture. Who has that picture?
We need a screen cap.
Oh, it was you guys, not
No, these guys did it.
Oh, these guys did it.
All Fabian and Remain.
Damn it, now we have to pay these guys more money? Oh, man. Yeah, but that was a good one. Remember we talked about that? I was like, I didn't understand what Brandon was saying. I was like, what IPOs back in the day? But yeah, no, that was, I loved trading IPOs back when we were talking about them 2020, 2021, 2022. It's nice to get them back going again. It's funny because if you looked at ARM actually was underneath its IPO price for quite a while before just spinning up there on their earnings call. So I wonder if that's going to be the case for Reddit, where we sort of comes out, it's a nice first couple days, and then it kind of hovers around until we finally see their numbers. But
yeah. Oh, there's another one.
I'm not an investor into Reddit.
Shoot, I have to look it up.
That was my grandfather on the Italian stock exchange.
That wasn't your grandfather. That was
the Italian stock exchange, man, back in the day.
See, what you guys don't know.
Back in Milan.
No, we've told this story before.
Patrick
We had a
knows about
trader
that.
on our floor who had a
my-
DeLorean, and that was actually a time machine.
Right, yeah.
So we just use that to go back in time and invest in stocks.
Yeah. My grandfather and Patrick's were chilling out there back in the day. So we're back then. So all right, let's go back. Send me that picture, Fabian.
All right, let's get into everything else we need to know here. Shrew's going to lead us off with a look at the futures.
51.82, guys. That's where we closed out last Friday. The overnight high, 52.25. Let's say we try to defend 5,200. It's been, one day closing above 5,200, the other day closing below it. Let's see if we can use it as support to the high side. It's been that same resistance level that we've had since March 8th, 52.50.
All right, if you haven't done so yet, make sure you grab that. Absolutely free, as it always is. Every single day, go to tradertv.live. You'll see a pop-up. You just enter your email address, and then you get that. You get your homework done for you every single day and sent right to your inbox. Here's Alphabet this morning. Yeah, 5.3% to the upside on this Apple note today. Here's 150. Fabian.
Guys.
Fabian, thank you. Here's 150 just above us here, 5.25% trying to hold on to. That was that last high for Google. I mean, this is kind of out of nowhere, but apparently Apple talking to Alphabet. I mean, apparently they're also talking to OpenAI on the same note to incorporate these chatbots into maybe the next generation of iPhones?
Yeah, look, I mean, it's interesting here because we all anticipated Apple would be doing something with AI. They may not be doing an LLM though, so it may not be the type of AI we all expected. Recall that they did, look to Google for search, and they did make a deal with them for search. So there's precedent there. We'll have to see how this all pans out. But look, Brendo, I mean, it's interesting here. We could see something as early as June when the Worldwide Developer Conference comes out, and we get that first hit of iOS 18 before it's actually released in the fall. So we could have more information soon.
Yeah, and we've heard from Apple recently that they are working on their own version of AI to some extent. I was mentioning to you off camera there. I heard an interesting argument over the weekend relating to Apple's AI, and it was essentially in the sense that instead of trying to take on all these other AI companies that are already out there doing the broad large language model approach, maybe make it more tailored to the individual. So training a model on Sharif's data or my data or Neil or Sean's data and make it more individualized. And then when you, as Sharif using your iPhone, need to get something more broader, then they direct you to maybe Google's Gemini or OpenAI or ChatGPT. So we'll see. It was an interesting conversation though, but yeah, a bit of a surprise here, guys, for Google.
I think that's the approach that makes the most sense based on this news, Brendan. So, I'm kind of hoping for the Apple stock sake that that's kind of the idea, is that we're going to specialize in something a little bit different from what everyone else is doing. So we're not going to compete in your arena. We're just going to be able to go out and pay you guys to do what you're already doing, and then we'll have our own differentiated in-house feature. Now, it doesn't really matter. Apple's money is green. If this happens, it's good for Google. So I think we can get that one out of the way. I got a lot of wicks on that chart. Let me give you the daily chart on my trade ideas here. So for Alphabet, you've already gapped through the first resistance zone. Like forget about I don't want to say forget about 145, but if we see 145 today, I've probably taken multiple longs into it. Certainly, I love that level if we get back down there. You're talking about that February high, I suppose. And then right in here was 147 on a bit of a gap. If we break 150 today, I'd be taking breakouts. But first things first, I wanted that 147 pullback. This happened after I sat down, where somebody was just sitting at 148 for 15, 20 minutes, holding the bid. So if this happens at the open and it holds 148, I'm only looking long Google today. So any level like that holds, to me, is worth a long play. So I'm probably going to have to adjust to look for a potential long off 148 right at 930 if it holds that bid. And that's just because of what anybody can see that. For 15 minutes, it was just a buyer right at the 148 level.
Yeah, look, I just, for the number one idea, sticky notes out, I just put 147 as Google long. Like, I just want to see a little bit of a dip buy back into some of these levels. It's starting to break out. I mean, I think this is a great, huge, huge win for Google today. I mean, look, when you open up your iPhone and you open up the internet, Chrome opens up. It's not Safari or anything like that, and that's fine. It doesn't all need to be part of Apple's suite. And actually, I would rather them do this with a ChatGPT. I don't know if this is going to be the headwind for Google or not, because Apple could get it done with somebody else. But whoever's in there, I think it's a win for both these names. I guess we'll talk about Apple too. But anyways, I really like Google for the long. If it comes into 146, I think that's a fantastic one. So we'll just wait. The NASDAQ's a little bit heated up, but 147 is a no-brainer for me. And because we're going to talk about Apple, I think this is a huge win for them. I wrote down 172 long. I feel like we're not going to get that either, but maybe down in here into 173. I like the story here. I like tech today, and these are the two biggest names that are moving around outside of the chip names. So I'm going to stay with Apple long and Google long. I like the story, and I think it works for both companies. So yeah, good win for both of them. Like Neil mentioned, I'm already huge into both these names, but recently, my most recent buy of any name was Apple, down there at 169 flat that one day. So good little move upside here. I think it works. It's just a matter of where do you think the market's going. You're back up now to 8, and I think we're gonna get a market update from Sharif. Have we had that yet? But right here, NASDAQ trying to break above this 18.3. So if we do that, remember 2 days ago we said if we trade under 18.3, we wanted to be short. We nailed some of those calls. We'll see about it again. If we can hold 18.3, then stay long. That's what we want to do to retest NASDAQ highs. So again, it seems like there's good news. I can't find a bad story for any NASDAQ names. Do you guys have one?
No. All right, let's go on. NVIDIA, to the upside we go once again this morning, 2.7% up. Yep. 80% down here, 79 in the past month. So the move continues here, to say the least, ahead of this AI conference coming up later on today.
Yeah, we're widely expected to get some sort of upgrade, not a replacement per se, to the coveted H100. It's being termed as the B100 GPU, and it's supposed to have several upgrades to their flagship product. Also, on top of that, we're going to get anticipated upgrades to CUDA, which is their software that goes with the GPUs that helps network everything together. So lots of unanswered stuff. Can't wait to hear the keynote from Jensen today at 4.
Yeah, back above 900 here. Just go long, right, guys?
I mean, you haven't been wrong going long on NVIDIA. Let's be real for a second.
Wow.
I mean, like, you pick your spots. I'm talking in the long term.
Yeah.
Recently, if you look at what's been going on up at this top, like the biggest move, I mean, the two biggest candles are in opposite directions, but the biggest move was that sort of fade back through 950. All that said, the setup that's been working for me on NVIDIA has been looking for triple top breakout plays early on in the day. Thank you. Wow, Randy. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Wow. Thank you, Randy.
Look at that. We were actually just...
Oh, no. No. I got to turn this guy around.
It's not just the
said
coffee.
I can't think of a bear.
Also, these little mini.
I didn't see the mini
cinnamon
rolls.
Because it's not a
cinnamon.
What do you even call that?
Bites.
Cinnamon
Bites. Yeah, we'll have
go.
to have some Cinnabites.
I like it. And we're going back to. Oh yeah, why the heck would they
Fisker might
still
be finished now, by the way.
I was going to buy it for $10.
for $10?
The stock?
Buy the whole company.
Oh, buy the
You
whole
buy the
company
company?
for $10.
Hey, Fisker, if
Little
you
hard.
guys are listening and you're looking for some funding, apparently you might have an interested buyer. His name
is this, TikTok?
Trader TV Randy. There you go.
His bid was $10 for the whole thing. That might be a lot. Did you have to take on the debt?
If
there?
he's the only bid, well, I mean,
What browser do I use? Come on, man.
oh, we're
Question
doing
is
this?
that. It's a monopolistic thing over here.
Let's
What
go.
browser do you use? I mean, I've
That's
already
easy.
selected here. I like Chrome. I don't use anything else, not even close. But some people are hitting up Safari. Ooh, what happened there? Safari.
Where's DuckDuckGo? Come on, son.
Yeah, where's, no, there's another one that my kid was using. I can't remember what it was. Okay, he knows what that was. All right, what else are you talking about there? Oh, NVIDIA.
It was a video. Oh, wait, yeah, we were finished the thought. So if it's every time it's set up a good break, it's been good. But I want that set up putting in a high after the open. So there was one at 875. It did another one here at 885 for the opening range. It didn't really do so on Thursday, but if you saw on, I think it was Wednesday, sort of the same thing. Like it sets up one of these like 1, 2, then boom, there's your breakout. And that was a 900 break late in the day. So right now it's set up for that at 905. It just hasn't shown me that level off of the open. So if it does, I'll be looking for that little, show me a double or triple top in the higher lows that's distinct on NVIDIA, and I'll take a breakout trade. They were essentially 3 for 3, whether it was shorts or longs off levels like that. So I just wait patiently for something along those lines on NVIDIA for myself.
Yeah, so I was sort of saying that about when
Things like that go.
is kind of along all the time. I do agree with that. But the one thing I wanted to say is, and I heard it on the radio this morning on the way in, is that they've been read, and it's true here. They've been read 4 of the last 5 days, not including today. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the 5 of the last 6 days, excluding one big move up here, which was a monster, 860 back up to 920 there. So, anyways. Had a bite of those cinnamon rolls there. They're hard to resist. But yeah, I was trying to give Neil a chance to eat his here. 905 break looking good on NVIDIA. I'm going to stay away from NVIDIA, honestly. Like, I want to just wait to see some of that movement get going. Like, I don't mean stay away from it. Like, I think if you're going to go long, you want to just pop this 905 immediately off the open. So I feel like that is a very, very safe play, because if you take 905 off the open, you could just use VWAP, which at that point will be 902, 903 as your entry and exit point. So you're in at 905, you can get out on VWAP there at 902, 903, or you can wait for a VWAP retracement play, but right now we're there. So for me on NVIDIA, I think it's more of a wait and see. We already talked about Micron. I know it's at the bottom there. I like that play better for chips because there seems to be a catalyst there where we know the direction. The only problem with NVIDIA's direction is that their new chip's gonna come out that's supposed to be an improvement. People are gonna wait for the price on that. What was it, 4 o'clock, Sharif, you said? Yeah, so you know, we're not gonna hear too much information unless something is leaked about the pricing and all that. So I'm looking to see maybe AMD kind of hovers around. I mean, I like some of these levels down here for AMD, 192, 193-ish. areas, so that could be something that's bought up. And then we will talk about Micron in a couple minutes, but I just feel like they have a good catalyst underneath them today with a bunch of upgrades. And like I was saying, I just feel that something with the memory of these new chips, something about Micron and NVIDIA just smells like something's going on there. So we'll wait. I think Micron's going to be the long.
Just reading another note on Boeing here. It didn't really move on this, but apparently there's a FAA directive now on a wing de-icing valve potential issue. So it's already down anyways on more negative headlines this morning, but just be aware if you are looking at Boeing. Let's talk about Tesla Model Y getting a uptick in price over in Europe once again to the tune of about 2,000. I didn't even check. Was it Euro or USD?
They're both, Brendo. Increases in North America and in Europe. So the Model Y is going to cost you $1,000 more starting April 1st. That's for cars in America. With respect to Europe, it's going to be 2,000 euros for the Model Y. That'll come into effect March 22nd, so a little bit earlier than the price increases for North America. But this is the first time, I think, in a while they've increased prices, and that's usually kind of a reflective of demand.
Yeah.
So maybe kind of good here. I don't know.
Goldman with a note on Tesla this morning as well, actually cutting their price targets. So even with these increases this morning, nice gap anyways, pretty red to say the least last week.
I don't have any of those problems.
It's true, but double bottom off 160-ish, like 160 and a half is the double bottom, and now a gap up on Tesla, possibly breaking that key 172 to the upside. Dare we say upside with Tesla?
Like
support to resistance to breakout. That looks pretty interesting to me. If it fills in the gap, the problem with that is like 165. Like you're talking about such a $5 dip down till you get to that resistance to support. So I feel as if I'm long Tesla today, it's going to have to be taking out some tops here, or maybe just like look at some pre-market lows. But up 4%. After a double bottom, I'm looking for a long on Tesla today. I just don't love what I see in terms of obvious levels. So unless you're breaking out 72, I don't want to wait around for 165. I'll have to look at the trend and try to take the stairs to the upside, which is fine. Like when a stock is trending up, you can find ways to get in. Just going back to the last time when it bounced off 172 in the pre-market, there were higher lows, 73.5, and then again 76. Like there was ways to get into the long. But it'll probably be one of those days if it doesn't take out the 172 early.
Apple, Tesla's hiking right now, the prices, but Apple's price is hiking right now, breaking through 175 and starting to go. Like Apple's starting to get off right now. We should have said we were looking for Apple short, and then maybe it would have came in, and we could have gone like psych, and then bought it right back up. But there goes Apple. There goes the market. So, all right. Look, forget about kind of like a little bit of Michael Noss action here. Forget about Tesla's story behind, why we're going to the upside. It's just nice to finally be going back up to the upside. It's been 3 straight days to the downside there. I wonder about getting above right here, this 170. I mean, we have a little bit ways to go, but this 174, 175 area on the daily chart looking pretty good for me on Tesla. So if we can get to that, that's good. That's good to go. Like, I wonder about a break. See, this is just a 20-minute chart here. So if we're going to play dips, I mean, how obvious of a level is 164, but that's $5 down. We could see that. I would love to get a 164 long today in Tesla. I mean, down. If we can get down to that level, I think we're already up. It's probably not going to dip that far. Maybe 166 into right there could be something. I'm going to try to be patient and wait for that 164 just to make sure the story is confirmed with the market liking what's happening right now. But I like it. There's the 200 period. And like I said, if we can break a little bit higher on Tesla and get all this out of here, then it's good to go, man. I like it. I mean, I know we had that little piece on VinFast there, and we've talked about Fisker a little bit, but Tesla's going to win all the time. And I like the name, and I like a dip buy into this 166 area, 164 if we're really lucky.
A nice gap. Randy's here. We were just talking about Porsche Taycan. Speaking of EVs, XPeng going to come through with a cheap, we'll see, cheap. Version of a electric vehicle. I mean, they're saying 14 to 21,000 US. That's crazy cheap if they can actually make that happen, and then we'll see if we can get it outside of the Chinese market.
Yeah, I'm having trouble believing this number. This is lower than what the Model 2 was before the inflation and the price increase that we were going to probably get on that car. But yeah, XPeng up nicely here, high single digits. And then, look, guys, look at Li Auto down aggressively on that news. So keep your eye on those two. But as Brendo mentioned, the price range here is supposed to be between 100,000 to 150,000 yuan, which is $14,000 to $21,000. It said it will probably release this by mid-2025, early 2026, so we'll have to see how they do.
I'm just noticing Li Auto, you were mentioning downside in a pretty big way here. If you go to the monthly time frame down here, it's still 23.5% in a month here for Li. Flip back over to XPeng, only up 4% in a month. So Li Auto still has a little bit of a lead in that sense.
Yep.
A little bit of a lead. That's a pretty big lead. Although today, a very different story, as you've already mentioned. So look, XPeng's volume is actually pretty decent today. It's done absolutely nothing in the pre-market, however. So you're just getting a bit of a consolidation. $10, we like close prices for significance, and this thing closed. It was on Wednesday, I think it was like a $10 close and then a huge gap away from it. I think you can look at the $10 level, was some support in there. If it can hold 10, then the old patented, hey, we're gapping up on good news on a Chinese stock, and then we're just going to start to fill in the gap. If that's what it does, which is usually the case, I think the $10 level looks like a dip. And when was the last time we gapped above here? We dipped and fell into $10.10 before bouncing, and that's right at the open. So we've seen this story before. I'm not going to get caught buying tops on a big gap up on a Chinese EV name. It doesn't matter what I shouldn't say it doesn't matter what the catalyst is, because I'm sure you could come up with something, in which case I would buy on a gap up, but not in this case. We've seen it happen way too many times, where you gap up, and then the first move at 9:30 is back into the downside. It's not as much volume as you would expect, but it's XPeng, not NIO in this case.
Yeah, I didn't even look at really any of the Chinese EV names today. I haven't looked at them in a while. The one name that I do like, though, is Alibaba, but again, not on a day like today, because you're down, basically going to be red once we open up, I would imagine here, especially if this market pulls back anymore. So not a great name to look at for the long, but I'm only bringing it to everyone's attention here because I do think 70 seems like a very good base, and you're breaking below the 50-period moving average. So if Alibaba, I don't think we get here today, but like if the market really starts to come in, I feel like I'll buy Google and I'll buy Apple and I'll buy. Are they doing a smoke fire alarm test?
It's an annual.
Okay, well that should be fun. But down into there, $70, $71 for Alibaba in case we get there. If you don't, if you've had enough of dip buying, maybe some of the big tech names, I feel like Alibaba is going to get beat up. They have that investigation by the EU into some of the products they're selling. So they were really rocking, like how many days in a row? This was a really nice move back up to the upside, was just about to break through 78, then all of a sudden, they have this investigation. So, some of these agencies need to get paid, and they often do look into things that don't actually exist. So we'll wait to see what happens here. I see dead people, and I see Alibaba down here near $70.
Let's go on to Micron. Not one, but two positive notes here from analysts for MU, up 4%. Remember, NVDA, 5 and change here, trying to take out highs. In fact, right now, both Cantor Fitzgerald and Barclays with positive notes on MU this morning maintaining overweight.
Yeah, and they're both with the same price target, $120 for both Barclays and Cantor Fitzgerald. And then Rosenblatt wanted to get on the action too, Brendo, here, and wanted to outdo the other two with a $140 price target. This is all in anticipation of what could be announced at the NVIDIA GTC conference.
Not a lot of volume across the board here outside of NVIDIA this morning. I mean, you can see at the bottom, decent participation so far, but NVIDIA seems to have the spotlight this morning, guys.
It does, but you can't sleep on 4% for Micron at all. So, I like the fact that you're now breaking back out toward the $100 level. We kind of went over this one already, but you dipped underneath 100, 90 held like an absolute charm here. That was a previous level. And then you got this nice little smiley face into what I thought would be a 95 breakout, but instead it's a gap above the 95 level. I'll buy dips into 95. As long as it wants to show me that previous resistance to support, then I'm going to buy dips into 95. A 98 breakout looks like it can be in play as well. I don't wonder if NVIDIA is going to already be through 05 if we're looking at something like that. Oh, and we forgot to mention Intel. I mean, Intel, it's not some kind of a smiley face, but that's a pretty defined bottom for 2 days in a row here on Intel. Let me zoom it in for you. 43.20. 3 days if you include today, this morning, and then it's got a bit of a double bottom. But this is an opportunity for a breakout. The only difference with Intel is A, it's weak. B, the only catalyst I'm aware of is there's a company that they're backing that is IPOing this week that is raising the IPO price and the amount of shares they're selling. It's like Astera Labs, ALAB. I don't know. I think it's Wednesday, but don't quote me on that. But Intel getting a bit of a bump because they're raising the amount, the price that they're going to take on the IPO, and also the amount of shares that they're going to issue. So obviously getting a little bit more money out of them. That's probably why Intel is, and then some of the market is just sympathy. But if it cannot punch through this 43.25, more failing this at the open, it's resistance until it's not over there for Intel.
Look, I have Micron written down here as a second idea. We had this on Friday. I think it was our second or our third idea, but they're all really the same. If we're listing them on here, we're going to try to take them. So we had it last week, $92 on Friday. It did dip down in. You could read it right here. It dipped down in on Friday. We'll wait to see. I feel like there's something brewing here with Micron and with NVIDIA, but that could be wrong, and then it's a sell the news event. So let's be careful. But, with this conference happening, apparently Jensen's speaking at 1 p.m., not 4 p.m. So we'll pay attention to that, but we'll get Sharif to double check that, or Adair or somebody. But right now, Micron going to be all the talk, I feel like. Nice bump up. We'll wait for $96 to come in again there on Micron. So that's where I'm bidding right now. Let's see if we get a dip buy on MU to start the morning. And then just looking here at the imbalance locator, because we did this on Friday. We had a big rebalance day, which turned out to be a nothing burger, as we like to say around here. But there's Google with a sell, so that's pretty interesting right there. We've seen, we look at Google, but it'll be the same kind of action on both. So that's a sell there. Fisker's with a nice little buy. We're still waiting to see if 15 cents can hold on that one. We're not in it yet. And then Apple's with a sell as well. So a couple sell events here to start the morning in the NASDAQ, but really nothing else. Palantir's getting down to that 2350 level that we keep talking about. So this could be something, but again, pretty bad action on Palantir off of 52-week highs of 27.50. So here's that $23 area or so on Palantir. The very bottom is 22.80. We'll see if we can get a bid down there. Yeah. I mean, that'd be great. Something down there, $23 for Palantir. So we'll put a bid there and hope our, sort of close our eyes and cross our fingers, and maybe Palantir gets that low for a day trade.
Weird. That's NVIDIA's website right now, guys. Down here, 1 to 3 PDT, which is Pacific Daylight Savings Time, I guess, which is 3 hours ahead. So 1 p.m. Pacific would be 4 here.
Oh, yeah. So that's, it's going to be 4 p.m., guys, 1 p.m. Pacific. So just make sure to keep your eyes on that. And also, join Adara and I today on How to Trade at 11. We're going to be talking about pullback trading all week. Today, we'll start off with the basics of a pullback trade today at 11.
Got to be pulling back from somewhere. So you like those trades on an upward trending stock. So the trend is your friend, and buying dips or playing a pullback, I think, is a valuable topic. Speaking of pullbacks, we didn't really look at a chart of BTC, or if we did look at an intraday one, I must have missed it. But IBIT still has that same support. Okay, 38 on Friday, 37.5. If you go early in the, late 2 weeks ago. So I think that's an area, if we dip down, do one of those crazy wick bottoms, that's the setup I was looking for that never materialized on Friday. It didn't do any of those big dumps, but if it does one of those big candle dumps, I'm looking for a reversal specifically at that 37.5 zone. Rivian apparently is making a bit of a move there, in going right into the open. Not that big, but a shout out in the chat to those mentioning Rivian making a bit of a move. About 20-cent drop there on Rivian. That was looking a little bit healthy this morning. $11 level looking key on Rivian. If it gets back up to 1240, I mean, I like that level for a short I have for a while, but I seriously doubt that Rivian's going to get up there. On watch today, I think, are Tesla, Fisker in the EV space. Maybe a little bit of XPeng as well. It should be a Google story or an Alphabet story today. We'll look at the 148 at the open because that's where the iceberg was, but I like the 147 dip by just a little bit better when you go out into that daily chart. It's Monday, it's Fed week, it's Reddit IPO week. Apparently March Madness bracket is out there. I haven't even mentioned that once. And let's get that countdown on for this Monday morning. Adair is on the bell in her North Carolina blue in 3, 2, and 1. Ring it.
All right.
She's got it.
Yeah, she's got it going on there. Yeah, I haven't looked at the bracket myself yet either. Here goes Google. It's just dancing around right now off the open. Pretty violent open here, as we can all see, just dipping it into VWAP again, 148.20 or so down there for Google. All right, NVIDIA 900 and still dancing around. Here comes Micron for a pullback into 96.
I just got, quick in and out on Intel there, so I'm going to get my order set up for NVIDIA as well, because that now 5 is definitely setting up. Intel, look at that move. Took the short into that high, it broke the high, we're out right away on that. NVIDIA's at 903.50, so 904 coming into play. Looks like we're going to get 905 pretty darn quick here.
All right.
Oh, you got to be kidding me.
So we're already in Google. We did take
Whoa.
What's happening? What's
didn't come close. Went to 909 instantly.
Oh, NVIDIA. Okay, I was looking at Micron. We're long Micron. We're long right now. I mean, we've got the good trade on hopefully here with Google. Google taking out the bottom as well, but then coming right back. So we'll watch out for that. Micron going to the top side. I'm not even on NVIDIA. I got to go over there.
It went all the way to...
Okay, here comes Micron right back, downside, upside. Everything's just jumping around right now. The NASDAQ.
NVIDIA is insane.
Okay, then go over to
I just
NVIDIA.
got dipped by 906 on the way back. It's at 911.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to 915 today.
Good. Okay, good. Because we're long Micron here, and we're long also on Google. Good trade there on NVIDIA.
How did I miss that breakout?
I don't know. How did you miss it, man? Okay, so nice move up there into 88s for Micron, falling right back down in here. Look at Google right now, 70-cent winner as we're starting to go nuts here on Google. Nice play back to the upside here for Google. Now almost $1 as it's trying to break through 150, and there it goes right there. So starting to go. NVIDIA starting to go.
I'm out. That was $8 right quick. That said, it should have been 9, everybody. That 905 break, that's that triple top in there. Take the money and run. That's insane. Like I'm telling you, that 905, we were just talking about breakout trades and spreads and all that good stuff. But sometimes you've just got to take it a little bit with a wider entry point. That's what should have happened there. Google making a nice run.
Let's go, Google.
Already a good morning. I love you, NVIDIA. The breakouts on this have been pretty clean.
Yeah. All good, man. Big time movements happening right now. Okay, so Micron still trying to go to the upside. We're out of half of Google right now as that's starting to go. Fisker's down here doing nothing. We'll wait for Fisker to do something. But it's Micron that's not really going. So we suffered through this on Friday. Let's see if Micron wants to get back up to the upside. We're just long here at 96.
Tesla's tanking.
And here goes Google right now. So bang, there it goes, man. Nice move upside for Google as that's going to go up and away. Be a big stock here today for us. Google starting to make, there it is. There's the dollar club right there for Google. Let's go on GOOGLE. Now we just need Micron to start going upside here and everything will be all well again.
Yeah, Micron's getting close at 95. This is what I wanted to get on a dip. It got to 95.5, so it's in the target zone for me to jump into it. And I didn't jinx anything. NVIDIA got to 915, and I got out in front of it. So, and again, the market doesn't give a darn what I say or a level that I put out there. But 915 did come into play and it did tag it with a bit of a break. I think the next step would be where's the higher low that can be held. AMD not doing NVIDIA things. That's actually headed to the downside. Oddly enough, that and Micron weak into an NVIDIA kind of day. But 95 is the level I want, so we'll be patient with it. Apple is only going to the upside. You're up 2% now, breaking the 176 level. Oh yeah, there was, almost forgot about Palantir. You mentioned Palantir. Palantir does not dip to that 23. I have 2340 marked off because that was a low on Friday, but distinction without a difference at 2350. So let's be a little bit patient as that's also coming back in.
All right, yeah, we're still watching out for Google right now to see what that can do. We're waiting for Micron. We're going to be more patient with Micron here, as we saw this happen before. The dip buy opportunities come through for Micron, so we're going to wait for $95 as well. Apple continues to be super strong today. We talked about why this was a good story for Apple today and a good story for Google, both of them. There goes Google, by the way, guys. We are really on one right now for Google. This is going to be P&L number one. Go. We'll face slap a little bit here for Google up through 151. And man, did we nail that one. We talked about buying this on breaks. We talked about buying the 150 break as well. Nice upside move for Google. We just take that out there for $1.50, and it's screaming to the upside right now. Goes Google. So far, so good here today. We just got to wait for Micron. It's just Micron for me right now. We'll wait for that because we've nailed Google right here. Big time movement up there for GOOGLE. What's up, Adara?
EHang, EH is the ticker. This one trying to run for the second day in a row, currently up almost 23%. They were running on Friday after earnings. This morning, they're trading higher after reportedly beginning to sell one of its flying taxis on Taobao. So a nice look for EH. Be aware, about 11% short float on this name, guys.
We know them. Good look for them. Let's see what happens there. Look, obviously, you're getting a big run up in some chips. I just got into Micron for the first time. It bounced to 95.20. IC, which is above 95 last I checked, at least by my math it is. So let's see how far this one can bounce. Doesn't matter where VWAP is or anything, but the first out for me is in front of the 96 even level. Get some at that 1-to-1 spot, and then see how far we can go from there. Google is now gonzo. You're not getting a dip buy in this. If we were going to get 47s or 48s, it would have happened already. The 150 on a pullback is the next place I'm going to go. I already mentioned Palantir, but I did want to go to this name, and that's Coin. Didn't really talk too much about it, but it's got a double top both yesterday and then the day before, so Friday, and then on Thursday as well. 244 on Coinbase, once, twice. Tried to go thrice today and actually already pulling back $3. So watch out for the 244 on Coinbase.
Yeah, okay. We're still in this kind of the same names here. Let's go over and find out what's happening with Palantir as I look over at our sticky note and figure that out. So I'm going to be buying some more Micron down here in and around 95, but kind of squashing all the Google profits there. All right, so yeah, okay, not much happening there with Palantir. We were hoping for a little bit more of a dip. Buy opportunity right there. The other name that we wanted to look at earlier because there was some news around it was the price hike from Tesla. That's coming in as well, down into that 167. What level did we talk about that we liked? Wasn't it down here into 164? So let's see if that can fall back in just a little bit more as well right now. So, all right, Google we got out. We only have 20% left of Google. As I told you, this is going to be the biggest stock here so far for me. 150, 150. Nice move up that $2 as we wait for Micron to settle down. And then honestly, it's just that last play right there. And we'll look for get into something else. What is Microsoft doing? Because Apple's the one that's getting all the shine today. Microsoft still upside, but only up 0.2. As you can see, today it's the Google, the Apple news, and then I guess we'll have to look back over at NVIDIA as well. But right now, some of these names starting to really lag a little bit.
There.
NVIDIA went
Tagged 920.
What?
$920. By the way, Tesla is only up 2% now. You're still tanking on Tesla here. This is getting nasty. I was saying, oh, you're not going to get a dip into 165 today, but that's the previous resistance level. So we are now $2 away. I suppose I got to look at a potential dip buy there, but it's Micron, which is defying, not logic, but sort of defying things. We're going to get a dip already into that 95, its previous resistance level as well. Oh yeah, Robinhood, this is going to break out. pretty close. Remember we're talking about the smiley face? I almost said roundy face again. Smiley face in hood into a triple top, going back Thursday, Friday, and then today, 1840. It takes out an 1840 top, and I'm into it for sure on a break. AMD's almost at $190. What is going on in chip land today? Is NVIDIA the only chip name going up today? Is that what's happening? Okay, apparently so. So here comes 190. If I wasn't in Micron dip buy, I probably would take a shot at this, but no need to double down. I'm going to be getting the dip here into Google because I didn't take the breakout. So 150 on a dip buy on Alphabet. And the second I'm like ready to put bids in, it went from 30 to 70 like that. That's a really bad snap. Left is better than
that's
right.
better. All right, so again, the missed opportunity today is going to be Apple because we had really liked this long. We had talked about how this was a win for them, trying to get talk now with Gemini, trying to get talk with ChatGPT, trying to get something in their system. Nice win for Apple today, and you could really see what's been happening to the stock, just straight upside. And I'm talking my book because of course we own Apple, but we always have. Nice upside move there. We recently bought at 169, and that's been working out so far so good here on AAPL as it's trying to go one more time right now. Micron's doing the low dance right now. Google, we got some piece out at 151, but again, this has really been our best trade. Buying that breakout of the 149.40 right off the jump. We just got to wait for Micron, and then I still can't believe that you said NVIDIA was that high, but 920. Nice move to the upside right here for NVIDIA. At some point, it's going to be a fade, but
We were just here.
it's already, yeah, exactly. It's no big deal here. We'll see what happens with NVIDIA, up 4%, 5%, and probably going higher. What's up, Adara?
Pinduoduo PDD has been really strong the last few days, continuing now up about 5% right now in early trading on Monday. Worth noting as well, we do have earnings for this name coming up Wednesday before market open, and we also did get a slightly warmer than expected retail sales number coming out of China, so some retail strength could be pushing PDD to the upside, guys.
Yeah.
So
It's its birthday today.
that's why I love this community, because SMCI is up more than NVIDIA today. So it went down when you're expecting it, and then when we're expecting, because it gets added to the S&P 500, and then this morning it absolutely rips faces off in light of the fact afterwards, Micron didn't break 95, did it?
I'm not bidding down there, but it's
No.
there right now.
Okay. Well, if it breaks 95 now, then I probably saved money by having a bad stop there. But that's only if I don't do what I'm doing, which is getting back in. It did not break 95. It broke a local bottom, and I just put the stop in the wrong place. So
Okay.
we'll see. I'll get in a second time, but really all that's happened is I might have saved myself 15 cents if it goes up from here. But it's been a dog at this particular point. Alphabet's now back to 150 and a half. So I'm going to get back over to there because, yeah, I'm not getting filled. I'm just sitting underneath 50. I'm going to wet the beak on the other side of 150 and a half this time.
Yeah, I'll probably be buying again in and around the 150 area. We've done really well on this stock, so I'm going to wait for in and around 150, back kind of where near view up is, but I don't think we're going to get down that low on Google, but we'll wait to see if that does happen. We're still waiting for Micron. Again, we sort of suffered through this on Friday. If you guys remember, we did have some nice dip buy opportunities in Micron Friday early. It didn't start rallying, well, until about now. But we'll wait to see. That's quarter after. That's right now, 9:40. So that's where we had this sort of dump off and then rip right back up. The problem with today is that the market's really hot today, and this is not. So they're really, if you look at Friday, we at least had some back and forth where there was some trying to make up our mind. Today on Micron, there's no making up the mind at all, as it's coming right back in straight to the downside. So watch out here as Micron's trying to get lower, lower, lower. And it looks like it's accomplishing what it wants to do and go lower. We just should have stuck with, well, whatever. Micron and Google are the same idea. We wanted the longs for similar reasons. I mean, Micron had some upgrades with some good catalysts today, we thought, and Google has, in my opinion, the best. And again, yes, I'm a pretty good shareholder in this company, so really happy with the way that's moving around. And with Apple today, it's been a very, very good day for the big, large cap NASDAQ names, including those two. Of course, the biggest.
Well, there's others too.
There is, but Microsoft is up. They're all up, obviously. It's 1.5% day, so monster day today. Square breaking back above 80 right now, starting to go, so that's going to be a nice little take here if we can hold in and around that 80 level. So where it came from today, 79.80, held 80, now trying to go back up to the upside. But again, if you're looking for weakness, maybe it's these fintech names and EVs. We'll have to look at Tesla, actually.
Tesla's getting...
Is Rivian doing anything? Because Rivian 12...
Look, Tesla's up 2%, but like it's not a lie, but that's not the truth in terms of what's happening to this stock. So like this is getting pretty... I'm not saying it's nasty, but it's already dropped $3, and as the market gets to the highs, this is right back at the lows. Rivian's on the lows as well. Apple's starting to dip. I did not pick up Google. I'm out of Micron. So if I had just said, hey, we had a bad stop in there and not gotten back in, all I did is save myself 15 cents, but then I got right back in the trade anyway. So Micron not holding on to the bottom. It's a falling knife right now, and I've stood in front of it twice. Maybe let's see it have some strength. This is the right area. It's just a matter of showing strength first and then looking to get into it after. Let's be real. It closed at 93.25, so there is still some room for the stock. Apple, if you're looking to buy dips in this, I mean, it's just straight to the upside. Look at some actual strength. Basically everything else that I'm seeing in the Mag 7 is looking pretty good except for Tesla. And most of the chip names outside SMCI and NVIDIA are doing basically nothing unless they're falling. I don't like AMD at these levels. NVIDIA's not giving me an appealing dip buy price. So be really, really patient here. Don't want to throw the NVIDIA money away. I already took an L on that Micron a couple of times. Let's go back to the desk with Adara.
Really nice look here right off the open for New Scale. SMR is the ticker for this one. Really strong volume. They had earnings last week. They did miss pretty much across the board, but they've just received a price target increase, almost double here from Canaccord Genuity, $4.25 to $8. There's also some talk coming out of Romania from an ambassador that this small modular nuclear reactor project is supposedly going to be getting some funding from the U.S. So in the same space as this name, nice look across the board here for SMR.
All right. I'm now in that right area here for Tesla. So let's just see, because we were talking about 164 coming into play here for Tesla. This name's really coming in as well as Micron. But Micron, by the way, is battling itself back upside. We did not get that very bottom long there, which we should have gotten. We'll take out 10% now and see if it goes back up to the upside. Come on, Micron. You can definitely do it. You know what's happening right now. Doom, right now. Nice $2 club now for Google as it's starting to get back up to the upside. So let's effing go right now. That is your #1 sticky note name right there. It is Google. It's going to be P&L #1 here today. So we'll props it up for everybody following out on the Google trade as it's really starting to go right now. So congrats anybody that rode with me there. Google looks like it's going to be a great long into the end of the day here. Again, I really like the story there, as I think a lot of us do. Nice upside move because Gemini's been so beat up, man, that it's nice to see a little bit of good news coming from that side of things. So there goes Google, wicked move upside. As we talked about, bouncing off the 50 period or the 200 period moving average, that's Micron, was Google. But I'm looking at Micron now. If we can get back up to the upside, we're just long here at 85. This is quite the turnaround here for MU. Let's go Micron. Maybe there's news on Micron, or I don't know, but it's really starting to get going back up to the upside right now with Micron.
Yeah, it's bouncing a little bit here. I'm back in front of that 95, but guess what? Guess what just made its bottom in front of 23.5, doesn't get to 23.40. It's going to be Palantir. Wanted to see it bounce above yesterday's close. 23.4 specifically is a triple bottom. So I'm in here at 58. If it gets to VWAP, that's the 70s. You're now looking at 924 on NVIDIA. Hey, look at that. All of a sudden, my last sell is no longer good in my personal account on NVIDIA because we're right back above 920. Did not see VWAP in there, but it is still churning to the upside. Palantir is a new one for me, and we're going to get back on the bid of Micron. As Tesla is still falling, 165 was where I was going to start looking at the long for Tesla. We're just here a heck of a lot faster than I would have anticipated. Tesla getting absolutely shellacked, and if you think it's bad there, it's actually worse for Rivian. Rivian has already dropped to 1075. 1050 was Thursday's huge wipeout bottom over there. So that's worth a watch. Are we getting a 925 break on NVIDIA before 10 o'clock? That seems insane. Yet here we are.
I sure as hell hope so, man. We are now 250 in the money right now as we'll go bullish with Google. And then we'll just wait, man. We just got to wait on Micron. Micron doesn't look like it wants to go. We just got out at 50. They're at 40. We got some out at 35 and some out at 40. So like I said, I mean, you're going to give some back with the Micron trade, obviously, as opposed to this Google one. But yeah, look at Apple, man. Apple just continues to go. Huge move up for Apple. I might just I might just sell some of this, man. I actually bought this in my swing trade account down there at 169 because I'm already loaded up, obviously, in the longer term account with Apple. But this is a nice move up, starting to get going now. I mean, maybe we're just in the early stages here of a huge bull run back for Apple, back up to some of these levels that we talked about. And then someone from Morgan or somebody will come and have a BS story, bring it down, and then we can buy it again at 185. But let's get to 185 first. But there's 170. It's a nice break, and it's a huge green up candle right now for Apple. Micron, there's, like I said, it looked like there was some kind of news there, but the volume didn't really pick up, just the price action did. So we got out of a quarter of our Micron on the upside, but definitely a negative story here today for me on MU. Google pulling back as well. So here we go, man. This is a good dip buy opportunity, maybe back to VWAP. Still though, 150 looking like it's VWAP. So what's up, Adara?
You're not seeing anything new on Micron beyond those two price target increases that we had this morning from Barclays and Cantor Fitzgerald. However, we do have another name making some moves here. This is a small cap name, Canoe. GOEV is the ticker. This one up about 50% after getting having its Oklahoma City manufacturing facility approved as a foreign trade zone, which basically allows it to eliminate customs duties for overseas customers. Nice look here for Canoe, 12% short float, guys.
Canoe.
Worth a look. GOEV on our watch list. Also on our watch list, I believe so, was Boeing. And I'll kick myself. Actually, no, that's not true. No, I'm not kicking myself for missing the flat bottom breakout on Alibaba because NVIDIA happened right away. And you're only taking one breakout at 9:30. So I took NVIDIA. I think it's better, but 180 to the downside on Boeing. Boeing is now down 2.5% and headed towards this level very quickly, 175. That is the October low, and it's $1 and change away on Boeing. That's a pretty big, significant historical, not historical, but you know what I mean, on the daily chart. So if it gets there, maybe look for a bounce. There was just a bounce, not VWAP, but 150.5. I was looking for VWAP the first time, couldn't get any fills underneath 50, took 60s. It just bounced back into 151. Want to scalp inside of the range. If the stairs are going up, we will gladly take them. What is all of a sudden not looking as strong as it was at the open is Intel. So it took out that top. That's where my stop was. And I thought we were going breaking out because of what happened in NVIDIA. Not the case. So now you're back underneath 43 quarters, and you could break down 43. I'm going to be looking shorts again in this area, giving it to the high. But I got to be patient. Want to make sure we get the prices that we want, which is up in the 20s here, if the stop is going to be at the high of the day. So got to be very particular there. Palantir is slowly bouncing, but not that rapidly yet. So we're close to VWAP. We're halfway to VWAP. I should get something out in the 60s. Local bottom is 23.53. We're long at 58. Just looking for a play back into VWAP here for Palantir. And NVIDIA's chilling out. It didn't want to break 925 until after 10 o'clock is my guess. It just wants to hang out for a little bit, pick some higher lows, go for a cup of tea, and then break 925 later is my guess.
All right, ACB, Aurora Cannabis right now starting to pop up as well as we get some of the cannabis names starting to dance a little bit here, up 20%. Obviously, we can check out all these marijuana names. We're going to ask these with Michael Noss when he comes out later on tonight, but there goes Tilray again and ACB. Both these names up. No, ACB's up 17. Tilray's only up 7. So here we go, man, on some talk. Obviously, we talked about this now with marijuana, trying to figure out what schedule it belongs in, so on and so forth. But I think the best trading, look, Tilray and ACB might be the best for what we're trying to do here as day traders, but I like MSOS. Just buy all the names, and we're going to get a little bit of an in-depth view there tonight with Michael when that comes through. Mara, let's have a look at that because right now crypto is heading to the south side a little bit with 67.5 coming into play. Mara back down to 18.4 and actually down 5%. Not a great day today for the miners, I guess. I'm just going to say Mara right now. I'll look at Riot later. But right there, 17.4 right now. A good little dip buy opportunity, but you got to get back into there. So right now, Mara pulling back on that news. Not news, but on the movement down in Bitcoin, unless there is news. I don't know. IBIT, we looked at $38 for an IBIT level, but I don't know. Maybe if that comes in, that's going to coincide with Bitcoin 67,000. We talked about that level as possibly holding as well. So BTC all the way back down to that downside. We are going to load up Google again pretty soon. It's coming back into VWAP right now. That's in the 30s. So we're going to watch out for Google as it's making a move as well. And then Advanced Micro Devices is always a short that I'm looking for. Like, as if you guys are going to say, like, you know, I didn't even know what was happening right now on AMD. And I was just saying I like the short in AMD. So let me go over. I was going to buy NVIDIA on a VWAP break as well. But now with AMD making this move back in, not a great sign there for advanced micro devices. Is the same fate happening over here? Yes, it is. So there is a dip buy opportunity in NVIDIA. But I don't know, man. Maybe it's a little bit too juiced up here. That conference has made me stay back a little bit from some of these names.
Yeah, like I liked, when I set up NVIDIA, I said specifically, I've said this for the last week, I like that breakout setup. When it does like a higher low into double and triple top, just take the breaks on NVIDIA and let the money run. That said, I got a dip into Palantir here. It did not get to VWAP. It filled 10 cents in the money, and now looks like it's in a bit of a run to $23.50. So even that last little dip, very short-lived. I think we're about to, if we break the low, we're going to have to get out there. That's that 23.4 bottom. And then Tesla, we kept saying 165. It's at 166 change. Still in a downward pattern, so lower highs in Tesla. Don't know that I want to be chomping on the bit to get out too far in front of that. Google's at VWAP. We got one bounce off VWAP here into 151. Let's see if it can get back to said high of the day. Oh, yeah, we talked about, I mean, I was mentioning Coinbase for like 244, but I mean, at this point, I don't think we're going to see that. Maybe short pops into VWAP. And one last one that we forgot all about, ARM and 131. There's something about this price area when ARM gets to it, it just starts to sell a little bit. And in the afternoon, you saw this thing essentially steal the thunder at the close because it was probably the biggest mover in the last 10 minutes that nobody was paying attention to was ARM. So 131, still another sell zone here, but looking a little bit stronger than the other names. So usually I'd be on the offer. Given what I see in AMD and relative to NVIDIA, I feel like I'm sitting this one out until it shows me some weakness. We've been on that offer pretty much every single day at 131, but it's higher lows on ARM today for some reason.
All right, so we're in NVIDIA, so we're in $1 right now, but we're waiting for more on that one. We did get the, okay, we're reloaded on the biggest and baddest name around. That is going to be Google, so let's effing go. Nice little reload there on Google as it's starting to go back up to the upside. So let's just keep taking it out, man. We'll start stacking on to this big name. Our out here is 912. This looks like it's going to break lower here. So here come some of the chip names coming back in for NVIDIA. So we were going to always, this was always the plan. Here it comes, it's out. So again, not a heavy position on NVIDIA, as we talked about it pulling back to VWAP. I always want to take that shot there on NVDA. So missed out on that. That's okay. We do lose there, but that was basically a minimum position because we would always want to take that shot down there. So we'll wait to see. Now it's coming back into the 50 period. I mean, you can just keep on layering bids until you eventually get that big one. But honestly, man, the damage that we're doing on smarter names that where we have plays like a Google or something like that might be a little bit better. But I don't want to leave NVIDIA alone. I do understand that it's coming back down, and that sucks. But I feel like we want to always watch this name. No really major economic numbers coming through at all. Maybe we just try NVIDIA against 910. But again, you're kind of catching a falling sword if we keep on doing this. We're already long Micron.
Yeah, like that's exactly what I feel is happening, because the other thing happening on the futures is you have wicked an important top. I just got a dip buy off VWAP again in Alphabet. These wicks. But look what just happened on the NASDAQ. We just took out this high going back into Friday and then wicked underneath it. That's the 18.32, 18.325, let's call it. And then you're pulling right back in. So I do not want to be messing around with names that look even remotely weak. So Google holding VWAP has been good, but it's been a scalp trade from the half to the even. And then let's see if it can get back up to the top. That looks fine. Palantir, I'm not reloading it. And I don't feel like it's justified because it's about to take out that 23.4. So we got some at 1-to-1, but that's a double bottom from Friday. If it can't hold on to this, I'm just getting the you-know-what out of Dodge on Palantir. It's got to show me strength off of that level. You have an out, make sure you adhere to that out. If I'm going to go short, I still like Intel. It's now breaking 43, so we're not going to get 43.25. We're going to have to look for something off of the pre-market low. So first available pop back into VWAP for Intel is going to have to be the way to go here. It's a name I came in looking for the shorts anyways, just got stopped out right at the open. And NVIDIA was breaking. That's the reason I didn't get back in, because to my eyes, it looked like we were going breaking out in the chip, but that was just NVIDIA going ham. I don't mind it, but I missed a re-entry into Intel because of it.
Yeah, NVIDIA is going ham right here. We got $1 slippage on that 9-10 break, so that was no good there. But we're going to wait to see if that maybe potentially was sort of a bottom there with that kind of slippage. But you are starting to fall back in right now. So again, trying to definitely, if there's going to be something that we'll try to catch a falling knife on, it will be NVIDIA, just because. So let's wait to see. It does have a huge upside move where you can make it all back like we're doing right now in one fell swoop. So let's see if that is the case here with NVDA and potentially bottoming out there. I don't think we have, but you know, maybe we do get a nice upside move. If we can get something back into VWAP, that's 913 or so, then we could take that out, but here it comes falling right back in. Okay, looks like it's going to break 908. That was our out again. So we did take out a quarter up there at 910.50 or whatever it was. And there it comes out, breaking through it was 908.50, sorry, was my out there. So that's where we got out. One last little shot there. Again, that last reload was fine, but here comes NVIDIA really starting to break lower now. So watch out. We talked about where and when this discussion was going to happen. Not till 4 o'clock for Jensen and company. So nice and nice little move downside here for NVIDIA. We tried it, we lost. NVIDIA is going to be a red mark right now, and so is Micron as that's starting to go lower now is here. So the chip name's not holding bid here today, but Google kind of is.
Oh,
now starting to head down.
Like the irony, of course, like as 910 goes on NVIDIA is when I'm getting shorts at 43.
Oh, there goes
back in on Intel. Google just lost 150. Okay. It's going to be one of those. So basically, we just came back underneath 18.3, and obviously it would be nicer to have short 43.20 on Intel than 43 even, but beggars can't be choosers. I'm shorting back into VWAP on this bad boy. Google might hold the 150, but when I reloaded that, it was right in front of the 150 level, and then just almost immediately broke down. So it was only a couple of scalp trades. I still think this is the one to be long. So if we work back into something, it's got to be this. As a matter of fact, we're holding 150. I'm jumping right back into it. It's already 10 o'clock. What's happening now, Adara?
No major numbers today, but we did just get that NAHB housing market index that's coming in at 51, so slightly higher than the consensus of 48 and the forecast of 49 here, but this is the only number we're getting today. Definitely, though, keep all these economic numbers in mind heading into the FOMC meeting coming later this week with some potential discussion of rates. I think it'll be definitely one to watch with regards to these markets. Jerome Powell onto the mic. Other big events happening this week include the Reddit IPO, which is supposed to be happening on Thursday. We also do have that GTC conference with NVIDIA starting later today as well. So lots on the line here for the market coming out this week. Other moves to talk about this week or today include Boeing trying to curl back up here, but still down over 2%. More updates to their ongoing saga. Now, Bloomberg reporting that subpoenas have been sent in the federal grand jury case with regards to that flight on January 5th from Alaska Airlines. We also have ACB amongst the other cannabis stocks here trading higher on strong volume. The reports on Friday that this has not been confirmed, circulating around Twitter from from hedge fund manager Doug Cass with regards to potential rescheduling. So these rumors continuing to cause these cannabis stocks to head to the upside, guys.
All right, we're really starting to go here again. Thank you for that update there, Adara, and some interesting names there with the cannabis sector starting to go. But man, did we ever reload that one, man. We reloaded Google 3 times down here at the bottom. So again, staying with strong names should have been the case there. And we could have stuck with NVIDIA a little bit more. It did jump right back up to where we were in that name. But again, a nice little dip buy opportunity there for NVIDIA. We're going to have to wait now because we've got a big one here brewing, hopefully on Google. Maybe it gets back up to this upside and then we can really start to dance with this name. We're only down at 150 now. We've really liked Google today, obviously, so we'll try to sit with it. We are out of 30% of these reloads right now, as we are having a little bit of a problem in and around this area. Micron tried to go and then stopped. Oh, come on. Now look at NVIDIA, man. We were $1 too late on that one, guys. But it did get down into 905 there, so that could be something. But there goes NVIDIA. Congratulations if you were able to hold on to that or pick that bottom down there in around 908. We tried it and eventually lost it, but we'll be back. Nice move on NVIDIA right now today, back to the upside after bouncing off that 906 area. So that's too bad. We drew the line at 908. So there was the breakout right there. That was where we wanted to stop that trade. Because if you don't hold that, I thought we'd make a move back down into here and not worth it. But that was the right call, but the wrong execution. Nice move right now for NVIDIA, starting to head back to the north side, right back to VWAP again. If you like to short it, this could be an opportunity.
Well, that's the thing. If it doesn't break VWAP again, then suddenly you've got like a false break that rejected 925 as a high on NVIDIA. That said, it held that 905. I wasn't expecting that all the way back in. Micron is now a little bit better. You catch a falling knife, sometimes you get burned, but now you have a higher low off that bottom, off the 905 level. So a little bit more patient here to try and grab it in front of 905. Again, let it set up a little bit differently, wipe out some of those bottoms. Google had some trouble breaking VWAP. I reloaded it into that VWAP at the 150 level, but it doesn't seem like it wants to make that big jaunt to the upside just yet. Apple, on the other hand, there we go, is not even close to VWAP. So this is providing you with an opportunity. I mean, obviously, if the market goes up from here, I think both these names are going to be fine. But Apple is suddenly looking, while percentage-wise not as big, a little bit stronger trend-wise than Google right now. So if it's going to hold 176, I'm going to like the 176 level. Haven't traded Apple yet today. Just want to get that out of the way. And before we go to Adara, Rivian's back at $11. The first green candle rejected an 11 breakout at about 11.07. Now, the EV names have been under pressure this morning. If you're looking to short a pop, this is right back into original resistance here at 11.10 on Rivian. Let's go back to Adara.
IMRX trying to recover here. Immuneering sold off for 2 days straight, Thursday and Friday. Massive move downside here after some analysts were disappointed with some of their cancer treatment data. Lots of analyst downgrades here. No news on this one today. It looks like a bit of a recovery from that move down, which actually saw the stock reach new record lows. They do have a short float of about 9%. Pretty small float too, about 21 million shares. So keep an eye on IMRX, guys.
Just hearing right now, thank you, Adara, for that as well. DocuSign just getting a bump up right now. It's still under $58, but if there's going to be a rumor on this one, you know, we've seen this before, kind of fell out there when they didn't get the financing on the last deal. So watch out here, 57.88. I'll take a 58 break right there. I don't know if it's going to be any good or not. It's not really moving around. I just want to bring it to everyone's attention because I will. Get into DocuSign if it does break through this 58, just because it looks like a decent level. And then if we can hold this back into that, so we're in, obviously, as you can see, we'll hold it back here to 57.70 or so. So DocuSign, let's put in our offer now in case, you know, something does fall in, and we'll just get out of all of it right now if it does break lower. So we're just in right here, pretty small, just waiting to see if there's anything happening with DocuSign. So a new trade opportunity there. NVIDIA's trying to fall back in, and then
Google just broke my support.
Okay, so Google's coming back in as well, 149.50. Watch out for the bottom of the day here, back at 148 now. So the market is giving it up, man. Maybe this isn't sort of that. No, not Apple. Maybe this isn't the you know, blue skies ahead here that everyone thought in the NASDAQ. 149, yeah, that 149 is a problem if Google loses that. So we'll see. The low of the day is right off the open right here, 148.50.
So I did get into Rivian just there. I wanted to make sure we mentioned that before we went to Adara. Pulling back into previous close, into 11 change. I was able to get threes, some out as it broke down toward VWAP at 96, and I want to get some out at 90 if we can, but Google lost support for me. So I jumped out of it. It was a great breakout trade, but then since then, it's through VWAP and going lower. Meanwhile, said Apple has yet to get down to 176 in VWAP. So that seems like it's a better play for now. If 18.3 holds, Apple's a little bit stronger. NVIDIA is trying its best to get back above VWAP, but that's not really setting up for me. If anything, it's either 905 sets up pretty good, or put in a higher low and give me something to sink teeth into. I'm just not seeing much of a trade there. We haven't not talked about Meta. Weak, although up 1%, gapping back, or pulling back in. Amazon underneath VWAP, even though it's up 0.5%, that's somewhat trending into the downside. Micron reload is looking a little bit better than obviously the 0 for 2 that I already have on it. If it gets to VWAP, got to take some out because Micron's been a bit of a dog. But if this is now the 95 bottom, it just took a little bit of patience for it to round off a little bit here.
All right. Well, we're just in all the longs right now. I'm still fine with all of that. I mean, we talked about our most recent play on DocuSign. That probably, you saw my stop. That's probably going to come out. This is literally a shot in the dark here to see if there's any sort of smoke where there's fire here. with a nice little upside move. It's right here. It's talking, it's on our Benzinga Pro platform. Oh, damn you, Mike.
didn't see it.
NVIDIA's now up to 913 right now. Damn it, man. We were long at 908 down there. DocuSign, trader circulating M&A blog reports suggesting DocuSign might have attracted an activist investor. So we're just going on that one right now because, again, we're just waiting for Google to get going again, which it has, man. We're making a lot of money back here. Google is going to easily be the #1 name here today, P&L-wise. Look at this move back up to the upside here for Google. Oh, that's too bad. We actually, I didn't get that bid down there. Okay. I thought we were bidding more down here. Oh, it just didn't fill us at 50. That's nice, 54 bottom. All right, well, we'll still take profit. Google making the move right back up to the upside. Great trade there for Google, starting to work out. That's for damn sure. And you know what else is starting to work out here is going to be Micron. Come on, Micron. We are buying some of these dips. Our average price is just 55. If this one goes, man, what a day, what a day. So we need that to get going here. NVIDIA, damn you, man, 915 now, as there goes NVIDIA. We believed in the name, there's no doubt about that, but you know, we only tried it 3 times to the long before missing it as it goes all the way to the upside. Google has been fantastic for us today, again, as that's been a #1 name, as I say. And then maybe Micron, maybe we can get a piece out here right now. We're playing with much more shares here, so I need this to go up in order for it to win for me, but at the same time, not trying to be stubborn and try to take out profit where it lies, right? I mean, VWAP is right there at 50s. If we could take something out right now and sort of start to lick some of these wounds, then we'll do that. So we're going to wait for a 39 fill here. On Micron. I don't know if that's close enough. That's where we put the offer. If that comes in, good. But that's what we wait for now on Micron, as Google fading back in as well.
Yeah, I took some out of Micron in front of VWAP, no question about it. It's going to look like it was right to be patient with this. When you're catching a falling knife, you really have to pick your spots. Because like, this thing was accelerating to the downside. When it decelerated was probably the place that you want to go long. I'm in Apple now, but I'm going to go to Rivian. We're able to get a couple. We're able to get profit out into VWAP, but then when that took out the top, we get out. Not going to fight against this thing if it wants to go up with the rest of the market. I'm in Apple for the first time because that was just holding. This is hard to see, some wicks in here, but 176.5, as we were mentioning, a little bit stronger. So back into Micron, into Apple on this available dip. NVIDIA is now breaking 915, but it just didn't set up as clean of a look yet. I think it still has a chance. Maybe it's a 925 break. Maybe it's off 905. Maybe it goes sideways and gives you another breakout trade to be had. And the chip name that is really, really starting to accelerate is AMD. AMD's now green again, by the way.
Oh, good.
That said, it's the weakest of the bunch at the open. And 192 was resistance for like a good 10 minutes in here. So unless it's busting 192, I'm not completely convinced with AMD. If there's something to be shorted, it might be this. But I'm not going to sit there and go long at this top. I need buyers in front of 192 before I'm believing in AMD. Apple's been strong. So you don't have to worry about Apple. That one's been strong, up 2.5%. I guess they like that news with Google. I liked it for Google more, but you know, the market tends to be right. Price is never wrong at the end of the day.
Yeah, I was saying earlier that I had Apple written down as my second long idea. We're going to be 1 for 1 on those, or sorry, 1 for 2 because Micron's not working. But I really liked it for Apple. I mean, like I said, they just need to get something in there and the talk about AI. That for me, that was enough. So, and if they can do it with somebody else, that's even better for Apple. So, all right, let's see what happens here with Google. It's coming back in. We did take that. So there's we told you we were bidding 50s. We actually changed it to 60s. So we get a bid now there on Google as it's coming back in a little bit here. So 149 and change. We wanted to see it hold 149. If it doesn't do that, then we will get out. As the market's coming back, the market's going to the upside as Google continues to come back. So not a great little look here for those of us waiting for Google to do something because it's just going downside right now. But we do have the reload there, and we're long now at 70. So if this can get back up into the upside, now I feel like we've already put on the big shares early, made the money, and now if we could just scalp around and not have to worry too much about directional plays, that'll be good for us. So there's a couple dip buys in for Google. We'll wait to see if it can pay out. Now we still wait for Micron, and we got to look for some more. Oh yeah, by the way, DocuSign. So DocuSign, good trade. Oh man, Nvidia's really ripping now. That sucks, man. Up to 916. It doesn't suck. It's great, but up to 916 now for Google. Continues to go. We got some out at 20 here on DocuSign. Let's take another piece out at 30 if we can get it. Again, we're just trying to hold. There it is. So we're just trying to hold out for a breakdown below. But if we keep going upside, there's another out for us on another one for DocuSign. A nice little move to the upside. And here goes Google again. Let's see if we can get going, man. We just got into the 80s. We're waiting in the 90s. To get a piece out here for Google. So we'll take a piece out in the 80s, then into the 90s. But right now, if the market loses this bid, remember I said the market, this is when the NASDAQ was at 1.1%. I was like, we'll probably get to 2% today. But look, we had a huge move off the open and stopped on a wick top. And we just basically made a very similar move right there again. Huge move up and then a wick stop, although that wick is not as prominent as the other one, but we'll wait to see here. That could be something in this market. Just stay tuned as, wow, that NVIDIA, like, wow. Ugh.
It can't break.
Give it a little more room next time.
It can't hold 915 though. Like every time I look at it up at 915, it's like it gets above and then the sellers just jump right back in, taking some profit. But the NASDAQ's back at the highs. Apple's not at the high, but it just busted 177 again. So we'll try to ring and register on the way up. I think you just take the stairs for anything that's trending and looking strong. Apple is firmly into that bucket today. No questions asked. Held VWAP through that entire dip. Look at AMD, screaming back off 188 and can't bust 192. So maybe it is some resistance up here that's worth shorting, at least for a shot play. That's local high. That's a dark pool wick. This local high is like 192 and change. So give to like 10s and 15s for myself. If we get back and retest that and fade, I'll look to short NVIDIA. Micron is probably coming right back into the 95. If we're going to be a little bit more patient, instead of sitting on the bid, I'll let it bounce where it happens. As long as it doesn't make a fresh low, if it bounces in front of it, I want to take the next bounce. So let's be really, really patient with said Micron. We haven't really talked too much about what's going on in crypto land, but there's a bit of a bounce happening in IBIT. Double bottom, but not at 38, at 38.3, coming back into VWAP. This is not really where I thought the low would be. Today I thought we'd maybe test underneath that 38 bottom. If we do break lower, we know Mara can be shorted. Coinbase underneath 244 still. That's very much in the pocket. If we break lows on IBIT, or in Bitcoin I should say, I'm looking at IBIT, so you're going to hear me say that. You know I mean Bitcoin. There's a flat bottom break here at 234. If we get no shot at the top on Coinbase, if we break that 38 on IBIT and that low gets taken out from Friday, then flat bottom break on Coinbase at 234. Just want to be prepared. Seeing as we already missed our first shot shorting coin.
All right, it looks like this is going to be, I'll have to look at Coinbase. I didn't realize we missed it, but all right, so 48.50 right now. We'll go for our next little level. I mean, this was a good one right now. We'll props it up to everybody that's trading the news with us here today. We brought this to you, DocuSign. I punched long. It was against me when we were talking about it. So that's how I know that we could all have this trade if we wanted it. It's a nice move up for DocuSign, man. It's 50 cents. If you want it, take it. I mean, it's just one of those rumors, so we'll wait to see here if it gets going to the upside. We're already out of 40%, but I'm just letting everybody know that because we're out of it, so let's wait to see here. Nice little bounce. We're not out of it, sorry, we're out of 40%. Nice little bounce up. Let's not, again, try not to treat Google disrespectfully here and get out some as we go back up to the upside right now. There's that 80 fill we talked about. We were waiting at 80s and we were waiting in the 90s. Let's put something again in maybe the high 80s. There it is, just to take another piece out. Let's face slap it up right now as Google easily by far the biggest P&L name here today. So for me, good move there for Google. We'll still wait on Micron, and NVIDIA should be, but it's not. DocuSign, did we get that 50 fill? No, we did not. Let's go Google, man. We'll just keep our ear to the ground on everything. As Apple continues to go up, maybe there's going to be an announcement or something. That was a great reload down there of 176.50. Remember, it's just a Bloomberg report that they're all together. So we'll wait to see on that. Nice move up, huge move up. I know Neil was just talking about AMD. That's about 20, let's call it 12 or so straight minutes of upside momentum in AMD. If we can get something like that on Micron, we'd be pretty damn happy. But there goes Google. What a great reload that was down there at 149 and change. Congratulations if you guys did that. Huge move up, but here we go, man. Google, let's see if it can run. It's just Micron, man. Micron, and it's a big day. And there's DocuSign as well. Face slap that out. And again, Who next? Who brought this to you, man? We brought this to you. It's at Trader TV Live. We gave you this story. DocuSign, there it is, man. It's a free 50 cents.
And that's what it's all about. Like, you got to find those spots, pick those spots. I like what I'm seeing over in Micron finally. Like, this has been a dog all morning until the higher low off 95. I think it's going to put in a break of VWAP any second now. I don't like AMD's weakness. We didn't just sit in front of it looking for the short. I wanted to see weakness at 192. It came in and just dropped $1.50. So it's already flushing back in. I'm on the bid to catch a dip by an Apple. But if we never break 192 again, I'm going to be looking for shorts in advanced micro devices. NVIDIA, just be patient, wait for the setup. I mean, you can be one and done with this. I just need to see something that is obvious to me. It's not giving you what was an obvious flat top break on NVIDIA at 915. It's trying to set up the same thing. Forget about that was at 905. It's trying to set up the same thing, but maybe not at 915. 916 is now a nice rounded top. You're getting higher lows into it. I think I will look for that breakout on NVIDIA. I love what I'm seeing over here. Sometimes the best opportunity for like longs or shorts can be these failed breaks or like these wick bottoms or wick tops. So CGC's up 12%. It's now consolidating after giving a liquidity grab underneath 325. This can punch back above VWAP. This 350 was a key level on the daily chart. Just wanted to see things calm down, get back above the resistance spot, and have a nice potential breakout. Where's my Apple fill? I was just on this bid. Oh, I missed it by 10 cents. So ignore the wicks. 176.58 is where I'm sitting. This just bounced off of like 63s. I'm going to put the bids at 65 and try to get this dip again on Apple.
Guys, despite not having any luck with this Micron trade, it's all about this. Like when you have your idea and it works out, you want to stay with it. DocuSign still making that move. Let's check a look on Tesla here as we go. And if there's any other names, guys, put them in the chat and we will have a look at it. Verb. Okay, people want us to look at Verb. We'll check that out in just a minute. Nice move up for Tesla. We talked about that. Oh, that's too bad. We were waiting. I still have my bid there at 164.50. It didn't fill in. We had that bid there from the morning time. Unfortunately, it only goes down to 166. We were very aware that there was a potential dip buy here somewhere in Tesla. Again, it was up today. It had a nice move right off the open. It probably based out there at it did base out there at 166. And then it's like, why could have we had it? I guess if you look back and you think about where we kind of opened up on Friday, maybe we could have bought that. VERB now opened back up, I guess. Am I hearing that right? Yeah, so a couple halts there. I guess it just halted down at 70. That's a move from 66 up to 72. So I guess that was a halt based on movement there. So volatility halt. Now you're starting to think about what you want to do. But you know what, guys? Here it is again. It's another dollar winner right there. So those of you, Kevin Mendoza, those of you that want these big time trades, man, you're going to get them here on our show. Hopefully you're going to get them on the midday. You're going to get them on the afternoon. Play the right levels and let's get ready to rock and roll. Sharif, what do you guys got today on the midday? Basics of a pullback trade. Well, there it is right now. Here's Google. There is no more basic pullback than this. Perfect timing. Huge move to the upside today. Play strength on pullbacks. Boom. There it is. Pulls right back into support. No easier of a pullback long than that one. Perfect timing today, Sharif. It's like this guy can tell the future. All right. Let's go over to the desk with Adair and see what she's cooking up.
Just be aware, if you are involved in Exxon, XOM, the CEO is speaking to CNBC right now, so just be cognizant of that. The IWM still negative on the day, but getting a little bit of a bounce here at that 201.50 area. So we could see some continued strength here and a move into positive territory for the Russell 2000. Lots of small cap partners to talk about this morning, including Immuneering, IMRX. This one looks like we're just kind of seeing a move back up after 2 days of downside following some cancer treatment data that analysts were not super impressed with. We do have about a 9% short float on this name, about 21 million share float total. We also have NewScale Power, SMR. This one up about 20%. Did get a price target increase, almost doubling from Canaccord Genuity. So from $4.25 to $8. Nice look here for SMR. Last but not least here, we have this move up for TSVT. This is 270 Bio. Saturday, it was reported that the FDA Advisory Committee had voted in favor of its treatment with Bristol Myers Squibb. So nice move up here for TSVT, guys.
Yes, sir. Triple top now on the 15-minute for NQs. Every single 15-minute candle has gotten to 18.35 recently. We're now back at the high of the day on Apple. I'm not looking a gift horse in the mouth if we fail this top because the futures are at resistance as well. So we've had double bottoms here at 176.5, right up to the top, which has been 60s. So I'm ringing the Reggie on that one, looking for it to get back in and just play VWAP. So patience, let it make a bottom. Try to get that higher low as well. It's a little bit of a higher low off 176.5. So picking our spots. And suddenly, I've been hitting NVIDIA and quitting it since last week, and I feel like I'm not going to. It's got to really set up. And I like breakout trades on this. But all of a sudden, when the market's at the highs, the stock that was breaking 905 is now headed back down into that bottom. So it's not nearly as strong as what it was before. I don't need to be messing with it. We can find other trades there, like just showing you guys. Apple, Micron, the chips are again. Like this is going right back into that bottom at 95 as the market's trying to take tops. It's got to show me strength off that 95 zone. I do like the level because you have a double top, so resistance turning into support. But at some point, it's got to show some juice when the market is looking strong. And that's you, Micron. You got to wake yourself up. If it doesn't get back above 95, I'm not fighting that bad boy. We're looking shorts in AMD. Might just have to pick on VWAP the next time through if we're not going to get that 192 zone. But it's been a good morning, and that's mostly because of NVIDIA for myself. If you hit that one and quit it, Apple looking good. If we can get another dip buy, we'll go ahead and do that on Apple. But be careful at these highs. We haven't been able to bust out this top on the NASDAQ. And if we don't, then you want to be ready for the dip buys on these strong individual NASDAQ names.
All right, let's just, this has been an amazing morning, as we've said, but let's throw some love to the leaderboard right here. So get ready for this. Watch this. Leaderboard today, top 3. We've got Wayne behind us. Bang for Wayne. We've got Josh behind us, number 2. And number 3, we've got Yannick today. So boom, nice moves today as the top 3 traders on the floor today, all behind us. I'm coming for you, though. So get ready. But congratulations to Wayne, Josh, and Yanni going to the upside right there for a nice little movement. So again, big congratulations to those guys. And another one right here, as we'll go a little bit of John Travolta. Hey, what's up with that, Google? Nice move up. There goes Google, another $1.30 to the north side right there. So it's a nice move up. Again, yeah, great job to everyone behind us, man. We couldn't be more proud of the guys up there. All right, so DocuSign got all the way to 58.80. You know where we're at? 58.93. I don't know. We sat in front of 59 to see what's up with DocuSign as DocuSign trying to go up, back up to the upside. There we go. So you guys like those leaderboards? You like the shout out? No problem. I told the guys and everybody behind us, I'm not going to mention if people are like way, underground or anything like that. We won't do the bottom, but we'll do the top every single time. So shout out to you guys if you do like it. I don't have what's for lunch yet. So unfortunately, you're going to have to wait for that one. All right, so what is up with Fisker? Oh, yeah, so we have Fisker, but I haven't been able to do anything with this because it's kind of just hanging around here again. So maybe we'll buy a little bit of Fisker here again, see if it can hold this 15.5. I was waiting for a 15 break there, and it didn't come through yet. So why not try to buy this, and we'll see if we can get some more love back in for Fisker at this level. There it is. So we just take that bid right there at 15.5. Let's see if Fisker holds 15. If it doesn't, then we're out of that one. Okay, man, oh man, are we coming back with a vengeance right now? We'll fire off the hot dog cannon because Google is starting to go right back up to the high of the day. What a buy down there off of those bottoms. Micron, if Micron wakes up, man, then hopefully we'll be able to join that leaderboard. But again, a big congratulations to all the guys behind us, man. First, second, and third right now. So good job for those guys. And yeah, we're excited here because there's so many different styles of trading, and that's the best part about it. DocuSign still, we have many different styles today. Look what I'm in. DocuSign, Newsplay, Fisker, garbage, Google, big time news play, Micron upgrades, right? So these are all different plays, and then NVIDIA, just always a play there for me today. So we'll really just be red on one name today. It's gonna be NVIDIA with Micron pending. So we have to wait for Micron to do something right now. But again, we have good position. All this name has to do is get above kind of where we are now, and then we'll really start spinning it. So hopefully we can break VWAP here on Micron and get going, man. 96 is really a target, but realistically, I think we can break this 96.50 and get back into 97, and then you'll see a little bit of a dance. So we'll see if that happens right now. But so far, so good today, man. Here goes Micron. Come on, Micron. Let's go. We are waiting for something out at 95.50.
Yeah, I mean, Micron's it's been disappointing on Micron. I feel like it did the same thing last week, so I shouldn't be surprised in some regard because Micron did a dip that went like $1 further than where I expected the bottom to be on the stock and eventually ripped. AMD did pull back into 190. I guess pull back. Bounce back up into 192. I said I'd short that if it got in there. If it gets down to 91, we'll take some out. And again, if it breaks this local high, I just get out of the trade. Not fighting anything today. Don't think that's going to be the way to go. But if you look at what's happening now between AMD back at 92 with higher lows and NVIDIA, it's almost like juxtaposed. So NVIDIA making another run back into the breakout price at 905, while AMD suddenly is showing some signs of strength. I mean, that's good for AMD, but I feel as if somehow like money's going from one to the other at times. I like the 905 hold on NVIDIA, but I much prefer, like I said, I prefer breakouts in that stock. No breakout yet of the top on Apple, but it's higher lows into a potential triple top at 177.60 is the actual local high here on Apple. So I'm looking for the dip. We want the same price we got before. We either get it or don't get it. If I go higher, it's got to break the top and then set up another long after that. Tesla's about to squeeze. I don't disagree with that. This is probably the strongest name. 172 was the level I set for a breakout on Tesla. But when you look a little bit closer, 171 looks pretty decent as well. But I'm going to stick to my guns. I like the 72, which means look for dip buys down into 170 or into 168. So I'm going to stick with the level I liked a little bit better and look for pullbacks to maybe join this Tesla move. AMD, the new position for me off that 192 level. And let's go to Adara for the crypto update.
Solana, a name that's been doing really well as of late. I'm going to show the weekly chart for this one in a second. But basically, Solana overtaking BNB here, closing in on its market cap, getting to that 200 level. So really nice time recently for Solana. Here's the weekly chart on this name. So you can see here continued upside move since basically June 2023 here. So nice look on the weekly chart for Solana, especially last week's candle here. And we're already green on the week for this name. So nice look for SOL. Bitcoin, of course, another one to take a look at here, basically continuing its move down from those new highs of just shy of 74,000. So we moved those new highs last week, continuing to see that steady move to the downside, but still holding up really well above that 67 area. Ethereum also a little bit weaker right now, below, we had at one point we're above 4,000 on this name last week, now below the 3,600 level. Solana still really strong on the day, up about 6%. A lot of these other names a bit weaker though. BNB below just about 3.5% to the downside. Cardano down about 3%. Avalanche, though, pretty strong, up over 12%. And we are brought to you by Benzinga Pro. Sign up today for 50% off their premier news and research platform for retail traders with code TTV, capital letters. Use the link in the description to go to checkout.
Man, I was just... Is it a problem if Solana is like your largest crypto holding at this point? Wow, Solana
is it really?
Yeah, it's absolutely ripping. It's the.
You don't have more of that than.
Yeah, probably I do.
Oh.
It's up like 500% in a couple months here. So yeah, Solana just absolutely mooning. That's why I had to. I mean, I talked about unstaking, and I unstaked some more because honestly, the move that this has been absolutely insane right now for Solana. I mean, yeah, from $21 up to $200. So this has gone 10x. Let's just say
NVIDIA's breaking 900
since October. NVIDIA's breaking 900 back down to the downside.
What?
So congratulations, anybody that's in Solana. That has been quite hot fire for sure. Reminds me almost as good Actually, it's way better than NVIDIA investment, but NVIDIA down here into 900, coming through again right now. Nice bounce off 9 bills. So there it comes, coming through one more time. We'll take a bath here if Micron breaks his bottom, remember. If NVIDIA can't hold, maybe this is not the greatest day here. What's up, BJC? You do not want to be like me when you grow up because, well, maybe you do, and I appreciate that, so I'll take that as a compliment. All right, nice move upside for Micron right there. 95.30, let's see if that can get going. Probably worth buying the dip all day, every day on NVIDIA. Just hasn't really been. Was one opportunity right there. Good breakout early. One good opportunity at 9.05. Looks like we're getting one again here at pre-market bottoms of 9 bills. Just missed it too late. Maybe if it comes closer, we'll dance with that devil. We're out of a lot. We only have 10% left, unfortunately, of Google because that hit our 151 target. So all is well in love and war except for Micron because that's only been war.
Yeah, but it just, like I said, I wanted to see it bounce here before reloading. I have to go to my 15-minute chart for you guys here as the 3 is starting to hate me. It's one of those days. So Micron, it's holding a higher low. It's still well in front of the previous resistance into support. AMD, we just got a reload at 192. You're going to see it come into this 92 a second time. Cannot seem to get past VWAP. And this was what, by the way, this is coming back up into 192 while NVIDIA is dipping into breaking 900. I cannot believe, like,
Hell, NVIDIA.
Like, it looks like I should be taking a 900 breakdown short if we're taking breakout and breakdown trades, but everything about my gut was telling me to look for breakout longs on NVIDIA. And all of a sudden at 10:30, we're looking, I'm not gonna add to short. No, I'm already short in AMD here if it can get 191. If 900 goes, I'll play a failed break and then short something on some kind of a pop. I just reloaded Micron, and then it's going to do this to me, which is break the lows. Sorry, a lot of stuff happened in Micron that is not showing up on that 3-minute. But Micron seems to want to break that low any second now. As NVIDIA is hanging on for dear life at that 900 level. Apple still looking good. It's about to take out the high of the day because it's strong. Any second now, you're going to get a top break here on Apple. As the NASDAQ, by the way, is pulling off some of those highs. That's probably because of NVIDIA and that 900 dip.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Kids can afford braces now. Let's go, Apple. Nice little move to the upside. Yeah, that's my life these days. Nice little move to the upside here for Apple.
They're cheaper, but not cheap.
Yeah, they're about $4,000 or so, I think it cost her. But that's okay. She's beautiful with or without, but more beautiful now. Okay, so there it is, man. Apple. Huge move, man, 177.75. I mean, we wrote down Apple long, but unfortunately, we've just been milking. And for good damn reason, man. It's been Google for me. Like I said, it's by far and away here the greatest tits for me on these dip buys. So we're going to be with Sharif and Adara today talking about dip buying. I feel like Google is going to be a good example. Micron's going to be a horrible one today for that. So bad example with Micron, bad example probably with NVIDIA, good example with Google. DocuSign, that was fun while it lasted, wasn't it? We missed this top there, but this time we missed it by 7 or 8 cents. We were at 58.93 just randomly, but here's a pullback. Now I'm thinking about just canceling because we are playing with house money now on DocuSign, and it's been a good trade. So right now, 57.97. If we break below it, let's just get out. So that way, we'll capture all the profit. We'll give back something. We still have 40%, so we'll give it back, but what can we do? That was worth it. We always say where there's smoke, potentially there's fire with that news. And there was. It was a good play, definitely to the upside. I hope some of us got that play back in. Here comes the long. Okay, Fisker was a good reload there. It went up to 16 cents. Let's see if it gets going again. Apple trying to break and Micron hopefully trying to go back up to the upside.
So I just, maybe that was a bad time to add to Micron, but NVIDIA broke 900. I said I'm not taking the break. I'll look for like a failed break setup. And it just got to 899 and right back above 900. I mean, instantly, within a couple of seconds.
Micron.
If it holds on to 900 on a pullback now, suddenly that looks like a failed break, and then a run to VWAP is usually what we look for there. So we'll see what happens. I was already in AMD off the 192 level, giving it a few pennies past, so I don't like even dollar stops. But Micron, if it doesn't go after that, if we hold 900 and get to VWAP on NVIDIA and the market continues pressing higher and Micron then still can't get to VWAP, I think you got to give up the ghost. No top real breakout past 60 yet on Apple, although it feels like it's just a matter of time here. And let's go Tesla. 170, Freaking two. By the way, I'm out of AMD. It took out 192.10. My stop wasn't at evens. It was actually at 11s. But here comes Tesla 172. So I said I wasn't taking. Whatever. It is what it is. I said I wouldn't take the 71. We're in at 72s on Tesla. Let's see if it can go.
Yeah, let's see if it can go. Okay, we just, thank you, Fabian, there. We just tweeted that out. Really funny picture here. And I want to thank Fabian for that here. Brendan, Neil, myself, all. Right now, you can see this is typical. You know,
Wait a minute,
see,
I didn't notice Brendan.
you see Neil just chilling here? Look at this. I'm like, let's go. Neil's like telling me what to do. I'm like, let's go. We need to buy 100 contracts right now. Brendan's just like, yeah. What's up with that? Check out my bow tie right there. So shout out right there. Thank
Where's
you.
a bow tie on the trading floor?
Yeah, Brendan. Okay, so there it is. Always a professional, Brendo, right there. I don't know how to answer that question, Neil.
I don't even know why I said it.
Back in the day when we were all trading in the 1920s, bow ties I feel like were a little more popular than maybe today. But here we go. So
You should have seen this. Oh shit, that's bad.
we're in Micron right now. We'll see if that one can go. I do like that NVIDIA bounce off 900. There's no doubt about it. It's just like I said, this is going to be, and again, Micron pending, but our only red name. And it's just because we tried it down here at 905. It just didn't come through. So we'll wait for that one. DocuSign trying to find that bottom. Fisker doing jack all. You know what we were looking at before? Let me check in on Adobe. I still think there it goes. I was going to say, we talked about this on Friday, that I thought with this conference this week with NVIDIA, and I think Adobe has one again on is it the 21st or something? I'm getting all the dates mixed up this week because we have Micron earnings, we have Reddit, we have all that kind of stuff happening. But Adobe is going to be part of all of this. So I know that they did not come correct with their report. We understand that they guided and missed by 500 million and got hit by 40 billion. But the idea here is that still quite the growth company and still, not the greatest valuation, but at the same time, Adobe came right into some support there, and I felt like you could have bought this. We did talk about it, of course, live on the podcast. So go find that out. We'll talk more about that as we go. DocuSign doing absolutely nothing, but it's Adobe. I think we could buy 500 dips. So mistake by not getting longer in Adobe down there. I was giving this the 3-day rule. I did not buy that dip. By the way, we talked about it when it happened. I was going to give it 3 days. I bought Pan W basically Pan W immediately on that dip when it went into 260. That first day, I stayed away from Adobe, and I don't know. I'm not feeling the same ways about the market of just blasting northbound continuously right here. So we'll wait for Adobe, but maybe that was a missed opportunity, but a good bottom take there if anybody had it. I just wanted to bring that up. And then we saw last week Ford bouncing around 1250. And again, see, there's those tops at 1250 and then right back in again. I don't know, man. It's really like this 50 period. I'm worried about EV space, and if we drop that, then I don't know, man. Like, why I'm invested in Ford, every time I say the name, I get like a little throw up, and when you
I did the same thing.
You get like that in your stomach. You're like Ford, and then it's like, oh my god. But anyways, we're into Ford. Electrify the world, Ford. See if they can even get these cars to stay off the recall list here. Let's go over to Darren. Hopefully, when she gets back, Micron's like at $105, even though it's at 95 right now.
Lots of strength across the board here. A couple sectors lagging a little bit. Those are going to be health services, pretty much flat in the day. And transportation, Uber leading this group to the downside. This morning, they had to pay the U.S. equivalent, or they agreed to settle for the U.S. equivalent of roughly $178 million for this Australian suit with some taxi drivers. So that could be what's sending Uber to the downside here. We also have a little bit of weakness in communications, but a lot of strength across the board in some of these other sectors. Retail trade really strong here. Amazon and Costco both green. Consumer non-durables, Pepsi very strong after this Morgan Stanley upgrade to overweight with a 190 price target. So good look for PEP. Producer manufacturing strong across the board here. Consumer services, commercial services, Tesla leading consumer durables to the upside on that price increase story for the Model Ys. And of course, both technology services and consumer technology both really strong here today with a lot of positive AI-related stories for Google, Apple, and NVIDIA. All of these a lot stronger than the rest here, but certainly strength across the board for technology services. Also worth noting, Adobe pretty strong here, recovering after that drop on earnings, and they do have their Adobe Summit next week, pre-conference March 25th, the conference itself March 26th to 28th, guys.
There we go. Tesla's fighting it at this 172 level. Like, it's gone a couple times. I've had the break. It cannot get past the quarters. I jump out, try to get back in when some strength looks like it's going to hold it above 172. But at this kind of a high at this time of day, I don't think you want to fight it too hard. It could always pull back. You get 170 if buyers emerge. There's plenty of room on a potential move up here. I know Tesla's up 5%. We've seen it do better than this. On a 2% day, Tesla's done 7, 8, gotten close to double digits. Oh, yeah. So I want to respect it if it can go there. NVIDIA cannot. I thought if it held 900, like, you'd be screaming into VWAP by now. But NVIDIA is still right down at 905, which is that breakout price. So it's not nearly as strong as it was before. I don't wonder if this isn't running out of some steam. And Micron, we reloaded. Again, that chart sucks. It cannot seem to bust past 95 quarters even, let alone 95 half. It's a good bottom consolidation, but the market's pressing through highs, and you're not breaking out on this stock just yet. So a bit of disappointment there. It is Tesla that I like at this level, but if it doesn't really start to go, we got to look back over to the name that is stronger, and is Apple. I'm on the dip. Want to get evens. I want to get VWAP if we can grab it. Don't have to take breakouts at this time of day. You guys let us know what else you guys are trading. I see Ricardo mentioning CVNA in the chat.
Ricardo, what's up, Mike?
I know, and I'm a little surprised by this because I'm not exactly sure. Let me put that in the middle. Sure why Carvana is strong and busting back out again. Maybe there is nothing happening. It's just a squeeze type name doing some squeeze-like things, but it's back above 82 if this wants. There we go. Back above the 82 level, this has a bit of a gap back into 85. Just remember, there was a lot of selling off of that 85 level the last time it failed there. So key price on Carvana if it goes a couple of dollars higher. But looking pretty solid. $1 million in volume, not nearly as much as I would like. But hey, above 82 looks like a bit of a squeeze level. And again, Micron can't go anywhere off this 95. It'll pop 5-10 cents in the money, then right back down. Nick Dubbs says have a look at App. App 11. App 11 up 6%. What is the daily chart telling me here? Breakout on the daily. I like that. Hasn't really had any kind of a red candle yet since it broke the highs. This is the time of day I don't like to take extreme highs, but look for a dip back into maybe $66 level. Much more interesting are some of these chip names to me. But good look, good catch on App 11. NVIDIA, as I said, can't seem to get to VWAP. If it goes back underneath 900, I'm kind of feeling like that's, I don't want to say it, but I feel like that's suddenly a short back through a fresh low, back to 900. Man, I really thought this was going to be a strong one today, but it's what it is.
All right. Yeah, good calls on DocuSign as we got out of that one as it broke a little bit lower there. So out of DocuSign, good call to get to these prices. But we did hold it and then got out there for a 10-cent hit. We got 95s or 98s on the way out. So good little break level there, but we were long. Oh, that's what it was. We were long at 58.05. So again, good out, but not good out because we don't have one up here. We did put one at 93. We could have taken that, but again, this is worth the risk for me every time. Now $2 in the money is Google. But what's up with this? Oh, by the way, thanks to Dara, it's 26th to 28th is the Adobe conference, so that's perfect. So we have time to wait. So if the market does fade out, but attention to Dara, she's by far the hardest working person around here because she's over at the desk and she's got to run over here and sit beside the professor in 15 minutes, and she's still looking for stories for us. So shout out to Dara. Dara, more work. What about DraftKings right now? People are asking us to see if there's news about DraftKings, and I hear that she's on it immediately. So nice little bump up there. Some volume really started coming in at there around 10:15. So nice move up there for DKNG. We'll see what's up with that. I really like DraftKings. We talked about this last week. Just first mover advantage again. You know, once you're in, and I know this because I only use FanDuel, and it's like once you're into something, you know, every time like my account just gets washed out, let's just say, and I lose everything, I don't download another app and get like the free $50 or something. you've built it with DraftKings or FanDuel, and they give you these promotions and all that stuff. So once you're there, and we know that sports gambling is a losing game. So DraftKings, FanDuel, MGM Sports, all these names will continue to get rich doing this. And by the way, I actually think Mike Tyson will probably knock out Jake Paul. So I'm actually waiting. Let me know if you guys have information on this. I was going to bet Jake Paul, but then he was like minus 350. A huge favorite is Jake Paul. But I'm just wondering if Mike Tyson, still does have. I've seen some stuff on Instagram. The guy's a freaking monster. At 57 years old, the guy will knock out.
It's your reflexes, though. Like, it's technically, of course, technical
100% of
skill.
people watching this.
Super strong, obviously, as well. Like, I played some of the videos too. He's got the power.
Yeah.
But there's nothing.
I'm trying to see the odds,
like,
yeah.
time is undefeated when it comes to your reflexes. That's what I wonder about. It's like, well, what happens when it gets a little bit deeper into, like, even late in the rounds, and then
he knocking that kid out, I feel.
Don't get me wrong. Like, I think technically speaking, he should absolutely have the ability to crush him.
Yeah, it's not even on FanDuel.
I'm going to respect. He's a good athlete. I'm much more into like traditional boxing, but I wonder when you get to that age, what is your speed and reaction level going to be? Tesla's back to 172 again. So it's trying to break out from 72s again. I've taken it a third time. A third time, will it be a charm? Oh, Micron bounced. I got filled. Micron actually made a decent bounce. I'm not even wasting the time. I'm just going straight to the 15-minute chart because the 3 hates me. So Micron has been bouncing off 95 and hasn't been doing anything better than 95.3. So 95.5 is a local high. If it breaks it out, I think we could absolutely go running. NVIDIA is now getting closer to VWAP. There it goes. So NVIDIA's starting to head back up. If it can get to VWAP in there, look for maybe a curl off of that 910. The breakout I thought was going to be a 916 break. We have to stick a fork in that temporarily. And AMD, which I took the shot at 92, I'm not jumping back into this one to the south side. We'd have to be talking 95s. AMD suddenly looks like it's the one that wants to go. Like, you should be buying dips on AMD. Wipe out bottom into higher lows, broke through a nice resistance level, and suddenly looks like it'll be the strong one. Raul saying Paul will be quicker because he's young, but all Tyson needs is one punch. 100% true. That's boxing in a nutshell. Like, a really good fighter only needs one shot. Just give him a clean look at that chin. And that said, the guy's no slouch. Paul, in terms of his speed, if he can play inadequate defense and keep it, he has to make the fight last. If he can do that against anybody in their 60s, you're gonna have a chance.
Yeah, honestly, I think it's Tyson in round 1. I'm just waiting for the odds. I don't see them. If you guys have it up anywhere.
I thought you said it was.
No, I don't. No, I saw it. No, it was just like an offshore. Like, it's not on.
Oh, I got you. No, I see what you mean.
Yeah, because. But now I guess it's happening. It's July 24th or something. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, Apple 77.
Yeah. So, all right, just real quick here. So I'm still waiting for that Micron. I still don't have the lunch yet. So, but I did look down on my phone and I saw another $400 charge for hockey. So that's great. All right, let's go over there. What's up with Money Talks and Adara? You got to spend your money somewhere. I know where I'm spending mine, and it ain't on anything for me. Let's go over to the desk. What's up, Adara?
Marginal gains for the DXY today, following off of what we saw here on Friday. So just a small candle to the upside here. Some economic data as well. We did get those NAHB housing market index number coming out slightly higher than expected. So 51 versus 48, which was both the estimate and the previous number. However, lots of economic data to keep an eye on heading into this week. Most importantly, the FOMC meeting and those comments that will be coming from Fed Chair Jerome Powell around 2:30 p.m. on Wednesday, so definitely stay tuned for those. Other economic data coming this week. We do get some housing-related data coming out tomorrow morning and some S&P services and manufacturing PMI data coming out on Thursday. So not a lot of economic data to keep an eye on this week, but absolutely stay tuned for what the Fed is going to be saying on Wednesday, guys.
That's right, 2:30 on Wednesday.
Ooh.
We know with certainty that the rate's not going anywhere.
Right.
We know that for an absolute fact, but it's like 99 point whatever. It's like 99%. I shouldn't say point something. It's probably exactly 99%. But you're still going to want to tune in because we know when he hits the podium, and that's Big Papa Powell, that he could pump or dump the market. Lately, it's been a bit mixed. Just back over to one name here. Tesla, it's doing the dance, man. We've taken it the third time through. Is it going to be a charm finally for Tesla to hold 172? I don't know. I feel as if it should have gone already, but it's holding higher lows into a market which has been strong. I got the dip buy into Apple. It's been higher lows that have not tagged VWAP yet, which is a good sign. The fact that it's bouncing in front of VWAP before it gets to VWAP, I think is good for Apple. So 77s into 77.5 is the new range play. Micron, I think Micron's gonna give it up. I think it's gonna break that low, to be sure. And Yoel, if they were to cut rates into a 99%, it's not doing anything, that's going to shock the market up. I just can't remember the last time, I've been trading a while, but it's been a while, since we've been unsure or been completely surprised by the Fed. But I mean, come on, if it's 99% that they're doing nothing, and then somehow there is a big cut or any cut, that's going to shock the markets to the upside. What everyone cares about this time is we actually get the dot plot for the first time in, I think they do it like quarterly, so this is the first time this year we'll actually get the dot plot. That's what you want to look for, and then comments coming out of our good friend Jerome. So Apple bouncing off 177, third time Tesla might not be a charm, risking about 40% of the NVIDIA gains, third time through on Tesla, but that's a level I liked. It's a breakout area that we wanted to grab on Tesla, so we took our shots at it. And again, you have to have a stop somewhere. And I always try to keep mine local. It just does not seem to want to go. I think it's got room to like 73, 74, 75 to stair-step it up. But Tesla running out of juice.
Okay.
No, sorry, there's one thing for Darwin. Yeah, the Fed doesn't want to surprise. That's the whole point. The whole point is they don't want to surprise the market.
Yeah, they're not even supposed to worry about the market. And if the changes, if there's nothing there for them to cut, like they don't need to cut right now. The CPI and PPI are going upside. So if they are going to start looking at that, then they're looking in the wrong space right now if they're cutting. So I just want to bring this story to you because, again, it's going to be political because it's Donald Trump, but apparently he can't find the money now. He's looking to, I guess, pay out whatever.
Oh, too late.
It's not on the Benzinga, but I'm just hearing now that he's unable to find the financing for whatever that, I think it was $400 or $500 or $1 million that he had to pay there on that, I forget the name of her, but whatever. Anyways, news about DWAC right there. And the thing about it is, it's important, forget about the news. Well, you don't want to forget about it, but you're breaking back down below the 50-period moving average. So more importantly, that's what that is. I just bring it to you because DWAC is doing this. So, you know, whether or not you guys want to see that or not is up to you, but there's DWAC breaking lower. I would say be very, very careful with that. And we'll wait to see what's happening with that one as well. But here we go, man, 900. So the last time we were down here on NVIDIA, we wicked below down to 898 and change. So we'll wait to see if that happens one more time here today. And it doesn't look like it's going to hold that level. Then you want to just get out. So that's basically 898. I mean, that very bottom today, the low of the day during the open market is 898.65-ish. You're not going to worry about pennies or even dollars sometimes, but that's the level there for NVIDIA. So if you're like, hey, I'm going long, where should an out be? I mean, you can ping that right there, 898. So I think a break of that. The only thing is we're going to be red on NVIDIA more than we thought we would be because we got $1 slippage when it broke 900. So I mean, $1 slippage, I would say realistically, I think 30 or 40 cents is something that you can at least expect. So the fact that it went $1 is really like 60 cents worth of slippage on that one. So, you know, not a great call there for me on NVIDIA going long early, but I wonder if there's a little bit of money to be made back here late on this long. Let's see if it holds that 898. I'm not doing it, man. We're already into Micron and just waiting. If Micron breaks this bottom, then we'll get out of the majority of these shares, probably 75% of them. And that bottom is right here at 94.80. I thought with all these upgrades today that Micron could have caught a bid at some point, which is why we're still in this. So otherwise, I would just be getting out and or getting some out here at VWAP. But I think we can break this and go higher. And it's like, I don't want to waste my whole morning here on an idea that is the number 2 one here on the sticky note. We already nailed. The number 1 idea on here is Google, and it is props up to that one. I can't do anything more than that except for use more shares. We nailed Google. and it was great. We had it early, we had it on dip buys, and it's absolutely fantastic. I don't even feel like we made a mistake there. But Micron, the number 2 idea, was a long, and we missed that. And then the number 3 idea was Apple long, but that didn't get dipping at all. And we were pretty lucky to get Google on that break, and we should have technically had Apple on that break as well. But we can't have them all. And again, a big shout out today, because today's leaderboard is Wayne, Josh, and Yannick. So 3 for 3 there on the floor behind us. You know, great job there, and really happy to support and announce that, because these guys behind us are really, really working hard. And on that note, you guys need to sign up if you want to be on a trading floor like we are, or just be a participant, maybe even own your own floor. Go to realtrading.com and find out more about that opportunity today. Realtrading.com, the platform that I'm on and Neil's on, and I've been here for 22 damn years.
100 years, according to what we saw.
Yes.
I mean,
no, but that's when I worked independently. I was with a smaller. That's when I was with JP Morgan.
They didn't have prop floors back in 1920. What did you say, 1919, or was it 1920?
We were on the floor.
That apparently were on the floor of the NYSE. At least that's what I saw in the video. So I mean, all video is true. So if you see it, it must be true. That's, I think, something that you want to hold to, right? Like, there's no such thing as fake. I mean, especially in the AI age, they can't have fake stuff like that. So we'll see what happens. Just a bit of an update. We only have 2 minutes to go.
Imagine faking that picture. I mean, what kind of technology would you have
to
have?
Are you kidding me? That's impossible.
I've never seen anything like that.
I thought I looked pretty good in that suit.
I know.
We're about to, so this is wild. Remember CGC and Tilray and the weed names? They're breaking highs. So that actually was good off of the 360 breakout. Not that you saw me take it, because I'm sitting there staring at Tesla, which is now going, and NVIDIA, which is now holding the 900, and Apple and Micron, which we're in. But CGC up that 23%. It ends up breaking back out above the 360 level. So there it is. And now it's absolutely flying. If it can hold all day, why wouldn't it get to $4? Sorry, not 4. Yeah. I mean, $4 makes some sense to me. That's the next level up, and it's the 50 period on the daily. So with 1 minute to go, the real question is, can NVIDIA hold 900? That's the imminent question for me. If it breaks 900 and makes a fresh low, I think it's a breakdown trade. If it breaks 900 and holds 898 again, then I think it's a long back up through 900. So if it breaks this even and then holds that low of the day, I think it's a long back up on the way through. Clearly, this is the volatile one that is going to determine a lot of what happens with the rest of the chips, because as NVIDIA goes, sometimes so does the market. We're not getting back through the highs if NVIDIA takes and holds underneath 900, and not my estimation.
No, I would say that's probably accurate right there. I just tweeted this out, by the way, and it's kind of a good thing, this Nuvea here. So I just tweeted out all the top stocks. We talked a little bit about Google here and Apple, but BNAI, Nuvea right now up 30% today, and one that I don't know if it was on our watch list, but again, looking for takeover bids right now. Nuvea, SMR, EH, a couple of random names there. There's Tilray as well. Just went with FF, Faraday. That's not Faraday. Nice move upside right there. Faraday Futures is FF.
FFIE.
This is Future Fuel, FFIE, that's right. NVIDIA there, XPEV as well. So a couple Pepsi, we talked about that earlier as well. So yeah, what a great opportunity today to learn more and more about the markets, because you're going to have both Adara and Sharif here on Midday Madness, and they're going to be talking about retracement, dip buys, something along those lines, and you're going to hear exactly about that right now. So join us every single day when they go over different lessons and different things to learn about. And I know that that's helped a lot of traders around here get a heck of a lot better, as you keep on hearing me say that every day. So, all right. So yeah, good day there today. Neil and I will both be back at 2 o'clock.
It's true.
But until then, let's go over to the Midday Madness with Sharif and Adara. Learn to trade, something like that.
What is up, beautiful people? Happy Monday. Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as the Midday Show. That right there is your girl Adara, and I'm Sharif. And as